Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Comprehension Heaven-Defying, Rebirth Sasuke, Revitalization. Chapter 61. All over Konoha Village, Sasuke casts multiple shadow clone and carefully searches for traces. Where is this old guy Danzo? Sasuke kept changing his face, and after checking everywhere to no avail, he thought to himself. Forget it, let's find the other two first. Sasuke smiled and quickly moved toward the Hokage. Master Haru, Master Homura, the enemy ninja village is attacking, please take shelter quickly. 3 Anbu members quickly protected them and rushed towards a special shelter. Where's Hiruzen? Why doesn't he come out to take charge of the overall situation at this critical moment? Udatain Kaharu asked Captain Anbu on the side. Hokage-sama is trapped in the Chunin examination venue by barrier ninjutsu, and is fighting a powerful enemy. Damn it, it's time like this. Homura and Kaharu looked at each other and realized something was wrong. Judging from their actions, Cheyenne Village seems to have been planning for a long time. So, under the protection of Anbu, the two quickly rushed to Konoha's underground shelter. When passing through a remote street, suddenly, several blind ninjas rushed out. Quick, protect the 2 adults. 2 Anbu members rushed forward, drew their weapons and engaged the enemy. The last one, Anbu, took them away quickly. After a while, in a secluded forest, the Anbu member stopped. Wait, what's going on? This is not the way to the shelter. Udatain Kaharu asked. Of course, because this is the road that will send you to hell. The two quickly retreated and distanced themselves. Bold, we are the consultants of Konoha Village, and our status is equivalent to that of Hokage. No matter who you are, if you dare to attack us, Quay Village will investigate to the end. HMPH, can a small village like Odo Nin withstand Konoha's wrath? The two shouted in a stern voice. Really, unfortunately, I am not a sound ninja. The Anbu member's face in front of him changed and returned to Sasuke's original appearance. Uchiha Sasuke, it's you. Their expressions changed drastically. They knew exactly what the Uchiha clan had done. Sasuke, you are also a ninja of Konoha, how can you help the enemy? That's right, send us to the shelter first. Afterwards, we will propose to Hokage that you join the core layer of Konoha. What do you want? We will satisfy you, the two said hurriedly. Oh, I'm not a simple kid. Forget about this trick of deceiving people. I represent the wrong souls of the Uchiha clan. As for what I want, it's very simple, that is, your lives. Sharingan appeared in Sasuke's eyes, and lightning-style chakra gathered in his hand, forming a sharp Chidori blade. Wait, the two wanted to argue, but Sasuke didn't give them a chance. He turned into an afterimage and passed by the two of them instantly. The sharp Chidori blade scratched their necks. Blood spurted out and 2 heads were thrown away. HMPH, let's deal with 2 of them first. Don't worry, the old guy from Tuanchao will come to accompany you soon. Sasuke sneered, and the shadow clone disappeared with a bang. The battlefield outside Konoha Village. With the return of the shadow clone's consciousness, Sasuke's body also knows everything. Very well, kill these 2 first and collect some interest for Uchiha. But where is Danzo hiding? Sasuke looked at Gaara, who had transformed into a little Shukaku in front of him, and thought to himself. He knew very well that in the original work, Danzo hid and did not appear this time. Obviously, he didn't want the members of the root organization he had carefully cultivated to be damaged on the battlefield, thereby preserving strength and preparing for the next seizure of power. It seems that we have to go through Sharingan. In the forest, Gaara became more and more violent. Sasuke was too fast. Even though he used the power of the tailed beast, he was still thrown around. You can't touch him at all. This drives Gaara gradually into madness. Damn Uchiha, I'm going to kill you. Gaara whispered with saliva on the corner of her mouth. The next second, a large amount of tailed beast power poured out crazily. Gaara instantly transformed into a giant Shukaku, and his huge body was full of oppression. Go to hell. Shukaku opened his mouth and fired a missile towards Sasuke's position. Boom! The air cannon formed by the high-density chakra exploded, shattering a large number of surrounding trees. There was even a big hole in the ground. The destructive power has been greatly improved. Sasuke flashed into a nearby tree. However, judging from his appearance and spirit, he is still Gaara. Sasuke secretly thought that he still had to force the tailed beast out. Uchiha Sasuke, can you only hide? Get out of here. Gaara's voice was booming, and he kept firing blank bullets from his mouth, destroying the surrounding trees. In this way, he tried to force Sasuke to show up. Ha, that's as you wish. Sasuke jumped up and appeared high in the sky. He formed a seal with his hands to perform fire style, and at the same time incorporated a trace of the power of the sun. Huge dragon fire surged out from in front of Sasuke, and his claws flew towards Gaara. Wind style, practice blank bombs. At the critical moment, Gaara used air cannon to fight back. The two collided head-on and exploded violently. Fire defeats wind, not to mention fire style with the power of the sun. The dragon fire technique exploded and turned into a sea of fire that surrounded Gaara and kept burning. Ah, the extremely high temperature flame made Gaara miserable. Why? You have to force me like this. Gaara couldn't believe that in this state, he was still defeated by Sasuke. When the flames extinguished, Gaara's body emerged from the tailed beast's head. Fake sleep technique. As a last resort, Gaara resorted to his last resort. As he took the initiative to sync his mind, Shukaku's consciousness instantly took over the main body. Ha ha ha, after so long, I finally came out again. Shukaku let out a shrill laugh. He glanced out of the corner of his eye and spotted Sasuke beside him. Little guy, it's all thanks to you this time. As a thank you, I'll send you on your way. Shukaku's yellow pupils revealed murderous intent. Of course he knew that killing Sasuke was Gaara's obsession at the moment. One Tail, you finally showed up. The corners of Sasuke's mouth raised slightly. Now, it's time for you to see my true strength. Immortal Body Dao Mark Hyphenation Point Station 1, open. As Sasuke growled, a large number of golden lines appeared all over his body. Suddenly, the surrounding natural energy was quickly attracted by the golden secret pattern and continued to converge towards him. Even, with Sasuke as the center, a huge natural energy Uzumaki was formed. This is natural energy. Shukaku was shocked and confused, although he didn't know why. But Sasuke's current state, especially the terrifying aura emanating from his body, made him fearful. So Shukaku immediately gathered chakra. He opened his mouth, and the dark purple-tailed beast bomb gradually took shape. Now that the threat is coming, he wants to use his strongest attack to directly destroy the enemy. Boom! A huge tailed beast bomb flew out and hit Sasuke. Along the way, all the trees turned into powder, and even a deep ravine appeared in the ground. Facing the incoming tailed beast bomb, Sasuke remained calm. The powerful power surging from all over his body made him full of confidence. Golden thunder and lightning continued to gather in his hands. Sage Art, Chidori Hikaru. Sasuke held the golden thunderbolt in his hand and fiercely moved forward. An extremely huge golden light blade galloped forward. Laugh. The tailed beast bomb was split into two and dissipated instantly. The power of the Chidori light blade remained unabated, and the golden light flashed past. Poof! Shukaku's body was split open, and the smaller half of his body slipped off. Even the vast land and the forest behind One Tail seemed to have been cut in half. How is it possible, this? Shukaku's eyes widened. This tiny boy in front of him actually had such terrifying strength. Escape. Shukaku was frightened to death. This young man was so terrifying. If you continue to fight him, you will die. One Tail Shukaku is cunning by nature, and when he sees something bad, he immediately runs away. With a rumble, One Tail's huge body ran quickly. Sasuke watched him go, and gave chase. Instead, he looked at the fallen body of One Tail. He dodged and appeared in front of it, and at the same time stretched out his hand to activate the Kiaro technique. Soon, One Tail's chakra was continuously inhaled by Sasuke. On the other side, there is the Yunin exam venue. The battle between the third Hokage and Orochimaru is heating up. The first generation and second Hokage summoned by Impure World Reincarnation continued to use ninjutsu to attack Sarutobi Hiruzen. The darkness technique deprives Sarutobi Hiruzen of his vision and plunges the surroundings into darkness. At the same time, the tree realm descends and a large number of vines and trees continue to twine towards Sarutobi Hiruzen. Plus Orochimaru is helping out. Sarutobi Hiruzen is getting old after all, and he is gradually unable to withstand the attacks of the three strong men. of King Zhao. He was trapped accidentally, but fortunately, the ape demon summoned by the summoning technique allowed him to get out of the woods temporarily. No, if this continues, Orochimaru will succeed. Sarutobi Hiruzen knew that he couldn't delay it any longer, and he was heartbroken. Summon several shadow clone and then immediately cast a powerful sealing technique, ghoul sealing. Almost instantly, the souls of the first generation and the second generation were sealed by him. After all, he came from impure world reincarnation, so his strength is very different from what he was before his death. Facing this powerful sealing technique, the two of them had almost no power to resist. Orochimaru is much stronger. Even when caught by Shinigami, he still struggled hard. The soul that was originally held by Shinigami and was about to leave the body gradually regained its origin under his summons. The old and frail third Hokage was unable to seal it for a while. The reporter is in a stalemate. In Konoha village, Sasuke separated many shadow clone and used his powerful spiritual power to search around. Soon, he discovered the root members who went out to inquire about information. Bang! Sasuke kicked him over, and at the same time, Sharingan appeared in his eyes and cast an illusion. Let me ask you, where is that old guy Danzo hiding? The root member replied blankly, Master Danzo is currently in the root headquarters, in the underground Black Tower. Take me there. Sasuke cast transformation technique, followed him, and quickly rushed towards Danzo's lair. Konoha's underground buildings. Danzo sat in the main seat, listening carefully to the sounds of fighting above the ground. Ha, that's really interesting. Soon, it will be the root tissue's turn to show its talents. Danzo smiled and waited silently. The root he cultivated has always been the Dark Power King of Konoha. They are responsible for dirty tasks such as infiltration, assassination, and silence. But this time it's different. Konoha is in deep danger due to the invasion. By the time the Konoha shinobi, Sagakure and Sound Ninja are almost at the same level. He then arranged for his subordinates to take action. At that time, you can easily handle the endgame and defeat the remaining forces of the invasion in one fell swoop. In this way, it is equivalent to him Danzo saving Konoha from fire and water. Even if Sarutobi Hiruzen survives by chance, he should bear the main responsibility for this incident. The Hokage must step down. And with his merits and status, it is natural for him to become Hokage. Soon, he will be able to realize the same origin. At this moment, a root member appeared and knelt on one knee to report to him. Sir Danzo, others have important reports. Oh, what information? Call him over. Teamfight nodded slightly and thought to himself, could it be that Sarutobi Hiruzen died at the hands of Orochimaru? If so, that's great. The last obstacle to the Hokage's position has been removed. Soon, a masked root member stepped forward. Tell me what information. If it's good news, I'll give you a reward. Danzo looked at him and said slowly. Danzo-sama, actually. Before he finished speaking, the root member suddenly drew his sword and stabbed Shimura Danzo fiercely. The speed was so fast that no one could react in time. At the moment of life and death, Danzo's right arm suddenly expanded and stood in front of him. Gee, this knife pierced a giant tree, and Tuanzang also used this to distance himself. Who are you, this guy? Danzo stared at him coldly, while other root members quickly gathered in front of him. Lord Danzo, I am your subordinate. He pulled out the knife and slowly stepped forward and said. Sasuke thought to himself, Danzo, this old fox, moved so fast, he actually escaped with his life. HMPH, all the root members have been cursed by me and cannot take action against me. Danzo said, suppressing the fear in his heart. At that moment, Shinigami almost came. If he hadn't used wood-style thrusting spear to block the attack, he would have been dead at this moment. After all, the root member in front of him couldn't see any flaws in his aura or demeanor, so he let his guard down. Is it an assassin from Sagakure or an Oto Nin? Could it be that he was sent by Orochimaru? Danzo had many guesses in his mind. Take the root, Feng, and kill him for me. He immediately ordered. Yes, Lord Danzo. Suddenly, dozens of root members, led by Yamanaka Feng and Aburame, attacked Sasuke. Heart-turning technique. Yamanaka Feng formed a seal with his hands and launched a ninjutsu on Sasuke. However, Sasuke's figure flashed and disappeared. Heart turn technique hit a root member in the rear, and he instantly collapsed to the ground. This guy is so fast, he looks like a master of physical arts. Danzo looked at it silently. At the same time, we are also analyzing Sasuke's strength and fighting style. Whoosh! Aburame takes the root and performs the body flicker technique. Immediately approaching Sasuke. At the same time the purple hand lurched towards Sasuke. As this guy, the owner of the nano-poisonous insects. Sasuke recognized his identity. ACDA. Once touched by him, tiny nano-level parasites will quickly invade the enemy's body and kill them. Succeeded. The moment he was about to touch Sasuke. Suddenly, red chakra surged out of Sasuke's body, instantly forming a tailed beast coat to wrap around his body, isolating his hands. At the same time, the terrifying lightning-style chakra instantly erupted inside Sasuke. Lightning style, Chidori style. Boom. Centered on Sasuke, a large amount of lightning continued to wreak havoc and spread. A large number of root organization members who originally besieged him quickly collapsed to the ground under the Chidori Ryu attack. What? It's the power of the tailed beast. Is this guy Gaara from Sand Hidden? Danzo was a little shocked. As far as he knew, the only ninja who invaded Konoha and was a tailed beast Jinchuriki was Gaara. But Danzo has some doubts. According to the intelligence, Gaara is famous for his sand ninjutsu. The ninjutsu he used didn't match Gaara's. As Danzo's minion, I will send you on your way together. Sasuke snorted and jumped into the air. At the same time, the power of the tailed beast continued to gather, and a dark purple tailed beast bomb gradually took shape. No, it's that move. Danzo's expression suddenly changed, and he immediately formed a seal and used ninjutsu. Just then, the tailed beast bomb plummeted down. Rumble. The terrifying energy wave caused a violent explosion, and the entire underground building was completely destroyed by this move. The root tissue under Danzo was also wiped out. Illusion twists. Danzo emerged from the ruins intact. What a hateful bastard. Danzo looked ferocious and stared at Sasuke with a fierce look in his eyes. There is no longer any sense of calmness as an old man. The root organization under his command was cultivated by him after spending a lot of energy. After investing a lot of effort and resources, it reached its current scale and became his sharpest minions. Unexpectedly, they were all wiped out by Sasuke in one move. If that's the case, that's fine. Danzo is at the top of Konoha and still has sufficient resources and energy to train again. But now, the root organization is his bargaining chip to save Konoha and ascend to the position of Hokage. What Sasuke crushed was not only the subordinates he had trained for many years, but also his ambition to become a Hokage. Years of expectations have been dashed, no wonder Danzo is so crazy and angry. Damn boy, it's up to you to atone for your sins and become my most capable subordinate. With a thought in Danzo's mind, the Mangekyo distinguished heavenly gods in his right eye activated. An undetectable mental fluctuation instantly invaded the mind of the ninja in front. And his movements immediately slowed down. Danzo snorted coldly when he saw this, and his expression softened slightly. Distinguished heavenly gods, known as the most powerful illusion. Ability to change the enemy's will without him being aware of it. Let him completely become his own puppet. Danzo thought silently. Although he had lost a large number of elite members of the root organization, the strength of the ninja in front of him was more than enough to make up for it. Suddenly, along with a streak of white smoke, his body disappeared. Obviously, this guy is just a shadow clone. Oh, it's really dangerous. I almost got hit. Sasuke's figure slowly appeared from the darkness. He had been afraid of Danzo's distinguished heavenly gods. That's why Shadow Clone was sent to fight. Sure enough, at the critical moment, Danzo used this killer move. Fortunately, he knew Danzo's trump card and took precautions. Who are you? Danzo looked at Sasuke, who was slowly approaching, in confusion. How did he feel that the guy in front of him seemed to know all his trump cards and calculated them step by step? Who I am. Sasuke opened his eyes and Sharingan appeared. I am the dead soul of the Uchiha clan, and now I come to you for revenge. Danzo was startled, then threw his head back and laughed. Ha ha ha, ridiculous, really ridiculous. The Uchiha clan was obviously destroyed by you. How dare you claim to seek revenge from me? Uchiha Itachi, you can't fool me. Danzo finally understood that with such terrifying strength, Sharingan and someone who knew his trump card. No one else but Uchiha Itachi. Pathetic fellow, you were just a maggot hiding in the dark, sleeping in the calendar area of Uchiha. Thank you. If it weren't for Sharingan's power, you would have died just now. Sasuke's voice was cold. You have become a threat to Konoha after all, Itachi. I thought you were a qualified ninja. In that case, now, it's up to me to kill Uchiha's bloodline. Danzo unwound the bandage on his left hand, revealing the Sharingan on his arm. Ha ha ha, that's ridiculous, just because of a dirty guy like you. Sasuke threw his head back and laughed. The next second, the blazing ball of light in the dantian of his abdomen rotated violently. The power of the stars exploded violently. Sasuke stepped forward, the floor shattered under his feet, and he punched out. Bang! The terrifying physical power directly blasted Danzo away and embedded him in the wall. Danzo's mouth was bleeding and he looked at him coldly. Itachi, you have good physical skills, but it's a pity that they are useless to me. Sure enough, as the void distorted, Danzo's figure appeared intact again. Wind style, vacuum wave. Danzo quickly formed a seal, sprayed out wind blades from his mouth, and shot at Sasuke. Wow! A large amount of sand and gravel gathered together and raised a high wall to block Danzo's attack. Manipulating sand. Where did Itachi learn this? Danzo was a little confused. The corners of Sasuke's mouth raised slightly. After absorbing one tail Shukaku's chakra, he naturally has wind style and magnet style. He can also manipulate sand and stone like Gaara. Wind style, sand bomb. Sasuke waved his hand, and a large amount of sand gathered, forming a dense sand bomb. Go! A large number of sand bombs rained down on Shimura Danzo. There's no way to dodge it. Not surprisingly, Danzo's body was riddled with holes and blood spurted out from the blow. It's useless, I have the power of both Senju and Uchiha, and I am immortal. Danzo appeared again and said coldly. Really, how much power can a low-quality copy like you exert? Sasuke raised the corners of his mouth and mocked. Danzo's face tightened and he gritted his teeth secretly. Indeed, Sasuke is right. Although he has Sharingan and Hashirama cells, Orochimaru forcibly transplanted them into him. He activated Izanagi, and a Sharingan was only effective for 1 minute. As time passes, Sharingan will lose its light forever. But, quality is not enough, quantity is the key. For this purpose, Danzo installed 10 Sharingans on his arms. HMPH, in these 10 minutes, all the damage I received will turn into illusion, enough for me to kill you. Danzo gritted his teeth and rushed forward with the vacuum sword in hand. Sasuke was not afraid at all, holding the Chidori blade to attack Danzo. Underground ruins. Sasuke and Shimura Danzo start a fierce battle. After Sasuke opened the Star Path Palace, his speed and strength were greatly improved. On the other hand, Danzo, although he has Hashirama cells, is old and frail after all. Compared with Sasuke in terms of physical skills, there is a huge difference. The two exchanged just a few moves before Sasuke's Chidori light sword slashed through his chest in an instant. However, Danzo relies on Izanagi to turn the damage into nothingness. In this way, he can barely compete with Sasuke. As the battle progressed, Danzo became more and more shocked. Damn Itachi, when did his taijutsu become so strong? Regardless of speed or strength, they completely crush him. In this way, Danzo had no choice but to keep driving the Izanagi. Otherwise, he will be killed by Sasuke soon. No, if this continues, my Sharingan will be used up. Danzo thought to himself that in terms of physical skills, he couldn't take any advantage. It would be unwise to continue to fight him head-on and drag it out. When a period of time is used up, it is his death. Suddenly, Sasuke's Magatama eyes swirled. Shimura Danzo immediately saw a bloody moon hanging high in the sky, surrounded by darkness. There were gusts of wind, ghosts crying and wolves howling, a terrifying scene. One by one, the Uchiha tribesmen, with empty eyes and dry bodies, looked like ghosts, stretched out their hands. Shimura Danzo, give me my eyes. Damn it, it's actually an illusion. When Danzo is immersed in illusion, poof, Sasuke's stunning sword cut off his head instantly. But soon, Danzo was reborn in the distance. Without Izanami, there is really no way to deal with this move. Sasuke secretly thought, this is such a rogue move. Even if you are hit by an illusion, you can still be resurrected, but it can only be broken by spending time. Therefore, in this state, it is naturally impossible for Sasuke to use his ultimate move, which will only waste chakra in vain. Continue to drag him with your physical skills. The physical technique of Dao Xing Jugong is not only powerful, but also does low damage. When Sasuke opened the Star Path Palace, he stored a large amount of star power. Keep fighting, even if it drags on for an hour or two, it won't be a big problem for him. Of course, Danzo was not happy. Summoning technique. After being resurrected again, Danzo quickly formed a seal and summoned the summoning beast, Dream Taper. The Dream Taper opened its big mouth and sucked hard at Sasuke. Suddenly, terrible strong winds were swallowed into his mouth from all directions. I see, are you using this trick to block my movements? Sasuke immediately understood Danzo's intention. His own speed is too fast for Danzo to hit effectively. So I plan to use the summoning beast to assist me and launch a large-scale sealing ninjutsu. Wind style, vacuum wave. Danzo formed a seal and spit out the Great Emperor Wind Blade from his mouth. With the help of the suction power of the Dream Taper, the wind blade slashed at Sasuke in midair at extremely fast speeds. Poof! The wind blade slashed across Sasuke's body, and a smile appeared on Danzo's face. The next second, Sasuke's body turned into rubble and fell to the ground. What? It turned out to be self-trapped. Danzo was stunned. This low-level ninjutsu actually successfully evaded his chain attack. Suddenly, Sasuke flashed behind him, kicked him in the air, and hit his head hard from top to bottom. Boom! Danzo's whole body was like a cannonball, hitting the ground hard and his flesh and blood were bloody. Twisting with the void, Danzo appeared again, and he looked down at the Sharingan on his arm. Damn it, only the last two are left. Danzo gritted his teeth, never expecting that his life-saving trick would be wasted here. Fortunately, the battle is about to end. Uchiha Itachi, I ask you one last time, if you are willing to surrender to me. Danzo's tone sounded condescending and he asked slowly. Humph, surrender, I will twist your head off. Before Sasuke finished speaking, he rushed towards him again, but suddenly stopped suddenly. The black binding curse mark spread from Sasuke's feet and quickly spread all over his body. Since you don't want to surrender, I can only execute you. Don't worry, Itachi, I'll take your Mangekyo Sharingan. Soon, you will see with your own eyes the death of Sasuke, whom you value most. Damn it, how could? Sasuke struggled hard but still couldn't move. Izanagi, solve it. Seeing this, Shimura Danzo untied the ninja and stepped forward leisurely. That kick you just had was very powerful. Unfortunately, the moment you touched me, I planted a curse seal on you. Danzo smiled coldly. He drew the vacuum sword and tried to chop off Sasuke's head. Zizizi. Suddenly, a sharp bird song sounded. The golden Chidori shot out and pierced his chest. You, my cursed seal, how could it be? Danzo opened his mouth and vomited a large mouthful of blood. He turned around and found that Sasuke's body was covered with golden dots. It directly covered and swallowed up his cursed seal. Stupid Danzo, I deliberately let you plant the cursed seal just to wait for this moment. Sasuke leaned close to his ear. I forgot to mention, I am not Uchiha Itachi. The corners of Sasuke's mouth rose and he quickly returned to his original appearance. You, Uchiha Sasuke, it's you. Danzo's eyes widened and he couldn't believe this scene. This 12 or 13-year-old Uchiha boy actually possesses such terrifying strength. It's incredible. This is also the reason why Danzo never turned on Sasuke. I told you a long time ago, I am Uchiha's avenger. It's not just you, you detain Koharu and Shuian Gate, I have sent them on their way first. Sasuke sneered and said, countless golden light blades were stabbed out from Danzo's body. Ah, the severe pain made Danzo look hideous. Damn Uchiha, evil Uchiha, let's die together for Konoha. A large number of curse marks immediately appeared on Danzo's body. At the same time, the blood from his whole body spurted out, forming a huge bloody ball of light. However, Sasuke was so fast that he was out of Danzo's attack range in a flash. The 4 elephants sealing technique. It's a pity it's too slow. Danzo's eyes widened as the huge black balls around him swallowed everything. A large amount of rocks and soil disappeared, leaving a big hole. At the bottom of the pit, Danzo died with a look of unwillingness. This dirty old fox is finally dead. Sasuke stepped forward and after carefully inspecting it, he felt relieved. Humph, Uchiha's first blood debt has finally been fulfilled. Sasuke thought about the many dead Uchiha people, and his heart agitated. Brother, it will be your turn soon. The Magatama in Sasuke's eyes rotated rapidly. At the same time, the third Magatama slowly emerged. Chunin exam venue. Orochimaru's sharp Kusanagi sword penetrated Sarutobi Hiruzen's body. Damn old man, why don't you hide? Orochimaru stared at him with a sinister look on his face. There is no need for me to hide, Orochimaru, you should be aware of the consequences of sealing away the corpses. Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed secretly in his heart, it's a pity that he couldn't see Asuma become Hokage. However, I will at least get rid of you. Sarutobi Hiruzen's eyes were firm and he gathered all his strength. The Shinigami behind him used force to pull Orochimaru's soul out of his body. Old man, don't even think about killing me. With a thought in his mind, Orochimaru controlled the Kusanagi sword and continued to stab him. Ahem. Sarutobi Hiruzen coughed up blood from the corner of his mouth and gradually felt the loss of life in his body. It seems that there is no other way after all. Orochimaru, although I can't kill you, I will take away all your ninjutsu. After Sarutobi Hiruzen finished speaking, the Shinigami behind him raised his dagger and dragged the soul out of Orochimaru's arm. Damn old man, come on. Orochimaru's face changed drastically, realizing Sarutobi Hiruzen's purpose. The next moment, Shinigami waved his dagger. Laugh. Orochimaru's arms were sealed, along with Sarutobi Hiruzen's soul. Suddenly, the color of his soulless hands quickly became dim and he was unable to move. Sarutobi Hiruzen fell to the ground and died. Orochimaru-sama. Seeing this scene, the four sound ninjas could no longer care about maintaining the barrier. They rushed to Orochimaru. Quickly, take me away, damn third-generation old man. Orochimaru endured the severe pain, was supported by four people, and then left quickly. Soon, the barrier dissipated. Other Anbu members quickly came to the body of Sarutobi Hiruzen. Damn it, because people actually. Captain Anbu pounded his hands on the ground. Anbu is the Hokage's guard. But they watched helplessly as Sarutobi Hiruzen was killed. Hurry up and inform others, especially the two consultants. Hokage's death is a big event in Konoha village, and other products must be notified as soon as possible. But soon, they received even more shocking news. 2 Hokage advisors were killed in a small forest in Konoha village. Damn Oto Nin, not only Hokage-sama, but those 2 advisors. Where is Mr. Danzo? Please inform him that he can only take charge of the overall situation at this time. No, the members of the root organization are missing, and Mr. Danzo is also out of contact. What, could it be that even he? Outside Konoha village. A large group of ninjas are trying to surround 3 giant snakes. These giant snakes are so big that they can easily smash the wall with just one swing of their body. They crushed houses wherever they passed, and even some ninjas were swallowed deeply by them. At this moment, suddenly, a huge toad fell from the sky. It hit a giant snake hard. Ninja technique, rooftop collapse technique. Jiraiya, who wears a forehead protector with oil letters on his forehead and has long white hair, stands on top of the big toad. He looked at the smoke-filled Konoha village in the distance and sighed softly. Is it still too late? When the surrounding ninjas saw this, they all smiled in surprise. Jiraiya-sama, Konoha is under attack. No need to explain, I understand the situation. Let's kill these invading ninjas first. Jiraiya ordered and at the same time led the remaining ninjas to launch a counterattack. As Orochimaru retreated, the strong men of each ninja clan in Konoha took action. The invading ninjas gradually began to collapse. Soon after, everyone was shocked to discover. The headquarters of Danzo's root organization seemed to have experienced a horrific battle, and the building was reduced to ruins. Danzo's body lay quietly in a deep pit. In this battle when Konoha was invaded, almost all the high-level officials died. Moreover, various parts of the village were damaged to varying degrees, and a large number of ninjas died. What a heavy loss. Ahem. Kimimaro covered his mouth and coughed violently, blood flowing from his fingers. As expected of one of the 12 guardian ninja of Konoha, he is really strong. Kimimaro's brown-black skin gradually turned white, and the power of the curse seal slowly faded away. Ahead, Asuma's eyes widened. Kimimaro's whip-like spine penetrated directly through his chest. As blood flowed out, Asuma fell weakly. Kimimaro didn't expect that Konoha's Jonin would be so difficult to deal with. After fighting with him for a long time, the winner was decided. Suddenly, Kimimaro jumped several times and quickly reached the top of a big tree. He looked in the direction of Konoha village and saw a large amount of brown and black smoke rising. What? Orochimaru-sama was defeated. Kimimaro couldn't believe it, but this was indeed a signal for them to retreat. What happened in Konoha village? Kimimaro would have been annoyed if he could have killed this ninja blocking his way earlier. Perhaps, we can join forces with Orochimaru-sama and kill the enemy together. Whoosh! Regardless of his serious injury, Kimimaro quickly rushed towards Konoha village. On the Konoha side, due to the addition of Jiraiya and the fact that Orochimaru's hands were sealed, they retreated in embarrassment. As a result, their morale increased greatly, and many of the 257 ninjas who came to invade were strangled and captured alive. The remaining ninjas also fled in panic. After a few days, everything returned to calm. Sasuke and everyone in Konoha attended the memorial service. Sarutobi Hiruzen, the 4 top brass of Konoha, Asuma, and other ninjas who died in the battle. They were all listed as heroes by Konoha. The reason is simple. Everyone thinks that they died at the hands of invading ninjas. After all, Sasuke's killing of Danzo and 2 Konoha advisors was very secretive. And during the operation, he also used transformation technique to change his appearance, so no one would suspect him at all. It can be said that the revenge was completed without anyone noticing. Soon, Konoha's top brass held a meeting. Organized by Nara Shikamaru, Yamanaka Hiyashi, Hyuga Hiyashi and other ninja clan chiefs. In addition, Might Guy, Kakashi, Yuhi Hong and other Konoha Jonin were also present. Sasuke didn't let Shukaku come to Konoha village because he defeated Gaara. His contribution was not small, so he was invited to participate. Lord Daimyo, this is the situation, there is no suitable leader in Konoha village now. We must elect Hokage as soon as possible. Nara, Shikaku and others spoke to the senior officials of the Land of Fire on the screen. The Fire Country Daimyo nodded slightly. Okay, who will be the Hokage now? Do you have a suitable list to recommend? Nara Shikaku, Yamanaka Hiei and others looked at each other and then spoke. We recommend Mr. Jiraiya to take charge. This time Konoha village was able to defeat the enemy and protect the village. His contribution undoubtedly ranks first. The others nodded. Indeed, Jiraiya is powerful, and Sanin's name is well known. As soon as he appeared, he showed great strength and shocked the enemy with thunderous means. Moreover, with his qualifications and prestige, he deserves to be the Hokage. None of the ninjas in Konoha had any objections. Jiraiya, I've heard of it too. By the way, he is the teacher of 4th Hokage. Well, it's really suitable for him to take charge, so it's decided. The daimyo of the country of fire clapped his fan, and even the west of the country of destruction nodded. Hey, wait, suddenly, a voice came from outside the door. Jiraiya opened the door and walked in. He glanced at everyone present and sighed helplessly. Hokage, it sounds good, but I'm used to being idle, so I can't take on this important task. In fact, he has been paying attention silently. After all, recommending Hokage is the most important thing for Konoha village. He couldn't ignore it. When I heard that everyone present unanimously recommended him to be the Hokage, I suddenly couldn't hold my nerve. Just kidding, he doesn't want to be a Hokage. It's boring to sit in the office every day and deal with so many files. How could it be more interesting to travel around, collect materials, and appreciate the customs and beautiful scenery of various places? Especially after hearing that the name of the country of fire was confirmed, he became even more speechless. Good guy, let him be the Hokage without notifying him in advance. In the end, the decision was made like this. Did you ask the parties involved for their opinions? Oh, this is so nerve-wracking. The Fire Country daimyo frowned. Jiraiya is currently the most suitable candidate for Hokage, but he is not willing. As for the others, the name of the Fire Nation swept through everyone, and those ninja clan leaders, whether in terms of strength or prestige, were obviously not good enough to take on the role of Hokage. For a while, the atmosphere on the court was a little awkward. In fact, many of the ninjas present wanted to be Hokage. But no one spoke, whether it was the top brass of the Fire Country or the other ninja clan leaders. Obviously, he doesn't like them. I do have a suitable candidate. Suddenly, ZZ opened his mouth and broke the atmosphere on the court. What do you think about Tsunade taking on the role of 5th Hokage? Jiraiya's words made everyone present brighten their eyes. Tsunade, also one of the Sannin. Not only is he powerful, he is also superb in medical ninjutsu and is famous throughout the ninja world. More importantly, he is Sun Yan from 1st Hokage. Regardless of the inheritance of the Hokage position, or the strength and prestige, Tsunade is very suitable. But, Lord Jiraiya, the problem is that Lord Tsunade is not in Konoha village now. Kakashi spoke. Others also frowned. Tsunade, like Jiraiya, was erratic. It is not easy to find him. Jiraiya, do you know where Tsunade is now? The Fire Country daimyo asked. If we can find Tsunade, it would be great for her to be the Hokage. I don't know the exact location, but I can determine the general range of her movements. Okay, Jiraiya, then it's up to you to get Tsunade back. The Fire Country daimyo spoke. Jiraiya frowned slightly. He recently explored Orochimaru's lair and the movements of the Akatsuki organization. Just thinking about solving this matter. Lord Daimyo, let me find Tsunadian. At this time, Sasuke suddenly stood up. Are you, Uchiha Sasuke? Well, Chunin did well in the exam this time. By the way, I heard that during the Sagakure invasion, the tailed beast Jinchuriki was driven away by you. Well, that's right. Sasuke nodded slightly and answered, neither humble nor overbearing. Well, since you have this kind of strength, this task will be left to you. The Fire Country daimyo nodded. Uchiha Sasuke. Jiraiya looked at him with interest. According to the intelligence, Orochimaru's next target was none other than Sasuke. It's really amazing to be able to drive away the one-tailed Jinchuriki, the Uchiha clan. Jiraiya thought to himself, not to mention Uchiha Madara, who stands at the top of the ninja world and whose name has been passed down to this day. Even in contemporary times, Uchiha Itachi is also a ruthless character. The awakened Mangekyo slaughtered the entire clan and became a threat even to the Akatsuki organization. But the strength Sasuke is showing now is no less than that of Uchiha Itachi back then. Even worse. Sasuke, right, come find me after the meeting. Jiraiya nodded at him. Soon, the daimyo of the country of destruction severed contact. Uchiha Sasuke, the important task of finding Tsunade-sama will be left to you. Remember, this is about the position of 5th Hokage, please complete it as soon as possible. Nara Shikaku seemed very polite. The other elite ninjas of Konoha also looked at Sasuke, without the slightest contempt in their eyes. They know how strong the Jinchuriki are. After all, the Nine Tails rebellion in Konoha village left an indelible impression on everyone present. And Sasuke can force Jinchuriki back by himself. Some of the Jonin present might not even be Sasuke's match. Therefore, even though Sasuke is young, they treat him more equally. After all, in this ninja world where the weak eat the strong, strength is everything. Don't worry, I will get Tsunade-sama back. However, before setting off, please let me learn a ninjutsu first. Sasuke suddenly spoke. Oh, what ninjutsu? Everyone was a little curious. 4th Hokage's famous stunt, Flying Thunder God technique. Sasuke spoke slowly. The others looked at each other with a trace of shock in their eyes. After disbanding the meeting, Sasuke first found Jiraiya. Sasuke, you are really amazing. As Orochimaru's target, you are still safe and sound. Jiraiya praised. Your talent reminds me of Orochimaru. That guy is a genius just like you. Unfortunately, he failed to use his talent on the right path. Scenes from the past flashed through Jiraiya's mind. When he was under the 3rd Hokage, Orochimaru still seemed innocent and kind. But the cruelty of many years of war in the ninja world made him witness too many life and death separations. In the face of death and the temptation of eternal life, Orochimaru finally fell into darkness. Perhaps, if I fought him with all my strength and killed him, there wouldn't be so many troubles in the future. Naturally, he sighed. Then, he took out a scroll and threw it to Sasuke. The above is the general scope of Tsunade's activities. By the way, there is also a piece of information. Consider it a gift from me. Intelligence. Sasuke's eyes narrowed slightly. It's about Uchiha Itachi. You should want to seek revenge on that guy. Sasuke nodded slightly. When the 4 giants of Konoha, including Danzo, died, no one except Obito knew the truth about Itachi's annihilation. Jiraiya and others can only see the surface. This information records information about Akatsuki, the rebel ninja organization that Uchiha Itachi joined, as well as some information about his own combat abilities. Sasuke nodded slightly, indicating that he had taken note of it. Although this information was of little value to him, it was enough to reflect Jiraiya's intentions. The two of them share the same goal of the Akatsuki organization, so they might not be able to cooperate. Then, Sasuke turned and left. What a cruel guy. Jiraiya shook his head slightly. However, he can also understand after experiencing the tragedy of the night of genocide. It is impossible for a normal person not to have any changes. That night, Nara Shikaku and others sent the Flying Thunder God technique. Now, all the top brass of Konoha are dead. Konoha village is leaderless. In this case, the Konoha conference hall can only be formed by the heads of the various ninja clans and the Jonin for the time being. To maintain the operation of Konoha, all important actions, tasks, etc. in Konoha village are decided after discussions in the conference hall. For example, this time I gave it to Sasuke Flying Thunder God technique. It stands to reason that the Flying Thunder God technique is a secret ninjutsu of Konoha, and the difficulty of learning it reaches S level, so it is impossible to teach it to Chunin. However, in view of Sasuke's outstanding performance and great contribution in this battle, plus the need to search for Tsunade. Therefore, he made an exception and taught it to him. However, the elite ninjas in Konoha village believe that it is impossible for Sasuke to learn the Flying Thunder God technique. Flying Thunder God technique, the difficulty of training is still second. More importantly, it belongs to the space-time ninjutsu. If you don't have talent in this area, it's impossible to learn it. Ever since second Hokage Senju Tobirama developed the Flying Thunder God technique, ninjas have learned a lot because of its powerful effects. But in the end, no one except 4th Hokage Namikaze Minato could learn it and improve it. Even Shiranui Genma and Ashirai, the other 3 4th Hokage guards, have only scratched the surface. It takes 3 people working together to perform the Flying Thunder God technique. But, Sasuke is obviously not among them. He has heaven-defying understanding, and ninjutsu that is as difficult to others as reaching heaven is very simple in his eyes. After reading it several times, Sasuke basically understood the principle of Flying Thunder God technique. The principle is actually very simple. The first step is to leave your own chakra technique somewhere. The second step is to reach the location of the chakra technique by moving in the time and space level. I see, this technique is somewhat similar to the summoning technique. Sasuke secretly thought, summoning technique is also a time and space ninjutsu. What's different about the Flying Thunder God technique is that it's a ninjutsu that summons itself. The remaining chakra technique is similar to the summoning rune of summoning technique. The first step is simple and many people can do it. The really hard part is the second step. Without the talent of time and space ninjutsu, it is impossible to sense time and space, let alone move in it. Therefore, in this situation, it is impossible to learn the Flying Thunder God technique. To sense time and space requires extremely demanding mental strength. Coincidentally, Sasuke created the 5 forging gods of his own, and after learning the second Zangetsu arc, his mental power has surpassed that of many Jonin. It even has the ability to perceive. It is not difficult for him to sense time and space. It's no wonder that those who can learn the Flying Thunder God technique, 2nd generation and 4th Hokage are both perceptual endurance. After all, to cast the Flying Thunder God technique, the premise is that the caster can feel the chakra spell left behind. Sensing ninjas have great advantages in this regard. So, Sasuke calmed down, quietly comprehended time and space, and learned the Flying Thunder God technique. Sound Ninja Village. A dark underground stronghold. Ah, damn Sarutobi, damn it. The old man with one foot in the grave actually took away all my ninjutsu. Orochimaru's voice was hoarse and his eyes were full of resentment. Not far away, Yakushi Kabuto came over with a bowl of medicinal soup. Seeing him like this, he comforted him. Lord Orochimaru, you are already very powerful. After all, your opponent is the man known as the strongest Hokage. And not only the Hokage, but also the Kazekage. Shut up. Orochimaru raised his head sharply and stared at Yakushi Kabuto with sinister eyes. Don't give me those comforting words again, what I want now is to get my hands back. Otherwise, be careful and I will kill you. Yakushi Kabuto suddenly broke into a cold sweat. At this moment, the crazy Orochimaru is like an extremely dangerous lion majesty. Will choose someone to eat at any time. The cruel and cold eyes made him even more frightened. Lord Orochimaru, then your other target. Yakushi Kabuto said carefully. Oh, Uchiha Sasuke, his talent is indeed beyond my imagination. He is very strong, stronger than Itachi. Once we can get his body. Hum. Orochimaru's eyes flashed with excitement. Don't worry, Orochimaru-sama, he can't escape because of the curse seal you personally planted. Yakushi Kabuto also sneered. The country of sand. Dozens of ninjas gathered in a canyon outside Cheyenne village. They stared at the corpses below. Damn it, damn Orochimaru, actually. Baki's eyes were red and he was gritting his teeth. They didn't expect that fourth Kazekage had died here long ago. And they never noticed it at all. Master Baki, based on the condition of Master Kazekage's body, I'm afraid he has been dead for several months. The Sand Shinobi ninja on the side reported in a low voice. Obviously, judging from the time, it was the Kazekage disguised as Orochimaru who went to Konoha village and started the war. Everyone listen, immediately pass this news to the 5 major countries, especially Konoha village. Konoha and Sunagaku were deceived by Orochimaru. Baki ordered quickly. This matter must be dealt with as soon as possible, otherwise, one mistake will bring disaster to Cheyenne village. Yes, dozens of ninjas around him responded. Soon, all the ninjas in Konoha learned the news. They organized another meeting overnight. Damn it, you bastard Orochimaru, not only killed the Kazekage, but also the Hokage-sama and several other high-level officials. Everyone in the Konoha conference hall undoubtedly blamed Orochimaru for killing Danzo and Kaharu. Everyone, Sand Hidden Village announced its surrender to Konoha and apologized at the same time. What do you think? Nara Shikaku said. Well, judging from the current situation in Konoha, we can only accept it. Oh, who would have thought that Orochimaru could kill the Kazekage without anyone noticing? In that case, let's negotiate peace with Cheyenne village. After all, they are also victims. Yes, the relationship between Konoha and Sand Shinobi has always been relatively good. The other ninjas in the meeting nodded. Everyone present knew the cruelty of war. In the invasion battle that Konoha faced this time, both sides suffered heavy casualties. I no longer have the energy to hold Sha Yin responsible. The sun is rising. Sasuke stood on the roof with a thought in his mind. Flying Thunder God Technique. Whoosh. Sasuke's figure disappeared instantly. Soon, he appeared at the training ground on the edge of Konoha. Before that, he left the chakra technique in this forest. Suddenly, Sasuke's mental energy was released. He noticed that Yuhi Hong was in the forest not far away, feeling depressed. Asuma died in the battle this time. She will probably be sad for a while. Sasuke thought for a while and walked towards Yuhi Kurenai. In the next few days, Sasuke left his chakra technique in various hidden places in Konoha village. At the same time, he is also accompanying and enlightening Yuhi Hong, allowing her to gradually step out of the shadows. After that, he informed everyone in Konoha that he had learned the Flying Thunder God technique. So, Sasuke quickly packed his luggage and set out on the road to search for Tsunade. After leaving Konoha village, Sasuke came to a remote forest. With a thought in his mind, golden Dao patterns appeared all over his body. Directly opened the immortal body Dao pattern hyphenation point state 1. Soon, the rich natural energy gathered towards him and gradually filled his body. Well, it should be enough to gather so many people. After a moment, Sasuke opened his eyes and immediately activated the Flying Thunder God technique. The next second, Sasuke crossed a long distance and came directly to the Kingdom of Water. Kurigakure, 5th Mizukage Terumi Mei's office building. Terumi Mei looked at the documents on the table, her eyes blank. Oh, this bad bastard, he has been back to Konoha for so long without any news. She sighed. She has been thinking about Sasuke since she broke up with him. Unfortunately, there is no news from Sasuke. This bad guy won't forget my mother. Terumi Mei frowned and murmured in a low voice. Suddenly, a pair of hands stretched out from behind Terumi Mei and covered her eyes. Who? Terumi Mei shouted sharply. Unexpectedly, someone could sneak into her side quietly without being noticed. Terumi Mei was about to launch an attack when suddenly, a familiar and magnetic voice sounded in her ears. Who was shouting that they wanted to see me just now? When Terumi Mei heard this, her body suddenly trembled. HMPH, you little bastard, if you don't come to see me, I will be so horny that Konoha will be lost. Terumi Mei turned around with a smile on her red lips. She looked at the heroic, tall and handsome Sasuke, and her beautiful eyes lit up. You bad guy, I haven't seen you for a few months, you have become a lot stronger. Terumi Mei said while reaching out to touch Sasuke's strong muscles. Indeed, in the past few months Sasuke created his own body training technique, Daoxing Jugong. At the same time, the Star Dao Palace was opened. He has grown much taller and stronger. Sasuke, do you miss the taste of 5th Mizukage? Terumi Mei licked her red lips and said softly. At this moment, her body was a little weak, and her eyes were watery. Humph, of course. Sasuke roughly carried her to the desk. Suddenly, documents were scattered all over the floor. Hey, little rascal, wait a minute, lock the door first. A long time. Suddenly, a Kurikage ninja hurried to Mizukage's office. She knocked on the door. Mizukage-sama, there are important documents that you need to handle. There was silence in the office. Mizukage-sama, are you here? She continued to knock on the door and spoke a little hastily. I have something to do now, please put the documents at the door. Okay then, please handle it as soon as possible. The female ninja was confused. She always felt that Master Mizukage's voice was a little strange. Just as she was about to leave, she suddenly heard the faint sound of water coming from the office. She patted her head and understood. It turned out that Master Mizukage was practicing water-style ninjutsu. Mizukage-sama is so diligent. He doesn't forget to practice ninjutsu after work. This female ninja had a look of longing on her face and her eyes were full of admiration. Mizukage office. Terumi Mei patted Sasuke's face with a satisfied look on her face. Little rascal, I didn't expect that. I haven't seen you for a few months. You are making great progress. HMPH, 5th Mizukage, it's nothing more than that, you didn't lose your armor after being killed by me. Sasuke grinned. Yes, you are awesome, that's it. Terumi Mei rolled her beautiful eyes at him. By the way, how did you get in? Suddenly, Terumi Mei's eyes lit up. Could it be Flying Thunder God technique? Sasuke nodded slightly. I learned the Flying Thunder God technique, and it will be easy to come here in the future. That's amazing. Come here and let me kiss you. Terumi Mei's red lips touched Sasuke's face. This compliment really came from her heart. The Flying Thunder God technique is indeed powerful. During the last ninja war, Namikaze Minato relied on this technique to repel many powerful enemies due to trapped leaves. Because of this, he gained a great reputation and was called Yellow Lightning by everyone. However, over the years, only Namikaze Minato has learned it in the entire ninja world, which shows how difficult it is. Sasuke, is this Flying Thunder God technique so powerful? Can it ignore such a long distance and come directly from Konoha village to Kurigakure? Terumi Mei is a little curious. This effect is too heaven-defying. Well, theoretically speaking, Flying Thunder God technique does have no distance limit. However, once the distance is too far, the caster cannot sense the Flying Thunder God spell and cannot activate it successfully. Another point is that the farther the Flying Thunder God technique teleports, the more chakra is consumed. If there is not enough chakra, it cannot span long distances. Sasuke explained to her, but it just so happens that I'm good at both. So that's it. Terumi Mei nodded slightly. The Flying Thunder God technique was indeed not perfect. By the way, little rascal, why are you here this time? Well, you help me personally. Who? Terumi Mei asked casually. Now, she is in charge of the entire Kurigakure and has a huge intelligence system in the Kingdom of Water. Find someone. It's really simple for her. One of the legendary Sannin, Tsunade. Tsunade. Terumi Mei was slightly startled. Tsunade's mature and beautiful face flashed in her mind, as well as that devilish figure. Hey, little rascal, you don't have any thoughts about Tsunade, do you? Terumi Mei supported her waist with one hand and poked Sasuke's forehead. Ahem, what are you thinking about? Sasuke coughed slightly and shook his head slightly. Really? Terumi Mei glanced at him suspiciously. You have heard about what happened in Konoha recently. Terumi Mei nodded. This guy Orochimaru is indeed a dangerous person, even Hokage and Kazekage. So, now Konoha wants to find Tsunade and let him serve as the 5th Hokage. 5th Hokage. Okay, I'll take care of it. Terumi Mei patted her plump chest. Well, then I will reward you well tonight. Sasuke leaned closer and whispered in her ear. Humph, you're not serious. Terumi Mei blushed and snorted. Oh, this is the general scope of Tsunade's recent activities. Sasuke suddenly remembered and took out the scroll Jiraiya gave him. It will be much easier to find her if we know the general range. Don't worry, there will be results soon. Terumi Mei said confidently. Little rascal, let's go home with me. Then, what to do with these files? I'll get off work today. As a Mizukage, I also need to rest. Terumi Mei left quickly with Sasuke. In a beautifully decorated building. Wow, so delicious. Sasuke, I can't believe how good your craftsmanship is. Terumi Mei was eating a large table of delicious food in front of her and praised Sasuke repeatedly. This cooking skill is simply amazing. There is no one in Kurigakure who can match Sasuke's cooking skills. Hehe, I told you, I'll give you a hard job tonight. Sasuke ate a piece of grilled fish and said with a smile. Ah, Terumi Mei blushed. I thought to myself, is it because I am too dirty? But Sasuke's next words almost made her angry. When you're full, you'll have the strength to fight hard later. A little farewell is better than a wedding. The two kept tossing around until midnight. The two of them cuddled up on the soft big bed. Terumi Mei tells Sasuke what happened in Kurigakure in recent months. Good job. By the way, does Kurigakure have a sting on the head? Do you need me to help you remove it? Sasuke carefully felt the softness on his palm. Haha, that's not a small tone. But I've already done it myself. Terumi Mei smiled. What about 3 tails from last time? Alas, it's still in the lake, so it's not easy to find a suitable Jinchuriki. Terumi Mei sighed. By the way, you have to be careful about the Akatsuki organization mentioned in Jiraiya's information. They have been collecting tailed beasts and may be eyeing your 3 tails. These crazy guys, if they really want to snatch 3 tails, give it to them. Otherwise, once they are angered, they may launch retaliation against Kurigakure. Sasuke reminded solemnly. Terumi Mei frowned but nodded. Well, I have another gift for you. Sasuke said seriously, and then he sat up. Soon, a look of shock appeared on Terumi Mei's face. Dazzling golden lines appeared all over Sasuke's body. The majestic natural energy around is attracted in a way visible to the naked eye, forming a huge Uzumaki with Sasuke at the center. This is. The immortal body Tao pattern can automatically absorb the natural energy existing in the world, similar to Sage Mode. Later, Sasuke explained to her the power of the immortal body Tao mark. Sasuke, are you planning to? Of course I will teach it to you. As my woman, I cannot be too weak in strength. Terumi Mei's eyes lit up. She hugged Sasuke again and kissed him hard on the face several times. Then, Sasuke used his mental power to guide her and began to slowly outline and construct the Do pattern. Soon, the sun rose. Sunlight shines through the window sill into the room. Suddenly, Terumi Mei's face lit up, and a complete catalogue of Tao patterns appeared in her mind. At the same time, pale golden lines slowly appeared on her body. But in terms of quantity, it is much sparser compared to Sasuke. The natural energy induced by Terumi Mei is much less than that of Sasuke. Sure enough, this immortal body Tao pattern is most suitable for me. Sasuke estimates that Terumi Mei's increase in strength by using this move may be equivalent to the second state of the curse seal of the sky. Slightly stronger at most. However, the advantage is that it does not gradually erode itself like a curse seal. It can also be maintained for a long time. Sasuke, this curse pattern is really powerful. It can continuously absorb natural energy. Terumi Mei said with a look of surprise. She could feel that in this state, her power, whether it was ninjutsu or taijutsu, would be greatly enhanced. How did you develop such a powerful move? Sasuke smiled slightly. Suddenly, looking at the runes on Terumi Mei's body, he thought of something. This pattern can naturally activate the energy between heaven and earth. Other ninjutsu, especially sealing techniques, and curse techniques, etc., those runes also have special effects. Could it be said that some Dao patterns, mantras, and runes are born with some special power? Sasuke vaguely felt that he had discovered some secret of this world. Hey, little rascal, what's wrong with you? Suddenly, Terumi Mei's voice brought him back to his senses. No, it's nothing. Sasuke shook his head slightly. To unlock this secret, he had to collect enough rune ninjutsu. After imparting the celestial body Dao pattern to Terumi Mei, Sasuke felt a lot more relieved. After all, Terumi Mei is quite strong in her own right. After opening the immortal body Dao pattern, your strength will be unlimited. The average cage level master will not be her opponent. In the next few days, Sasuke quickly rushed to Tsunade's area. Terumi Mei also sent mist shinobi spies to help him find out about Tsunade. During the day, Sasuke used Shadow Clone to search the area. At night, he used Flying Thunder God to return to Terumi Mei's residence. These days, the two of them live a very warm life. Terumi Mei also rarely enjoys a relaxed life, especially Sasuke's cooking skills, which she is full of praise for. A street full of people. The curtain at the door of a casino was suddenly opened. A very beautiful and mature female ninja walked in with a huge gambling word on her back, long light yellow hair combed into a big ponytail, a blue-purple diamond-shaped mark on her forehead, a pair of shining brown eyes, fair skin and a broad mind. When everyone in the casino saw her, their eyes lit up. Not only because Tsunade has beautiful appearance and perfect figure, but more importantly. Here she comes, she is the legendary Fat Sheep. Everyone saw her broad chest and the little fragrant pig held by the woman beside her, and recognized her identity at a glance. After all, the characteristics are too obvious. Shizune, help me turn these into chips. Tsunade opened the suitcase generously, and it was full of cash. Tsunade-sama, are these, all of them? Shizune's eyes widened, his face flustered. Of course, I want to have a good time betting today. Tsunade smiled heartily and found a seat to sit down. But, Tsunade-sama, we finally managed to. Shizune was just about to persuade him. After all, such a large amount of cash was not easy to come by. Stop talking nonsense and change it for me quickly. Yes. Faced with Tsunade's urging, Shizune reluctantly walked to the counter. HMPH, watch out, today I'm going to win back everything I lost before. Tsunade grabbed the dice from the table. Everyone present looked at each other, smiled knowingly, and their faces were full of joy. Team, you mean, I'm here. Terumi Mei brought news, which cheered up Sasuke. Well, according to the information sent back by intelligence personnel, she has appeared in Tuanshu Street in the past few days. Tanju Street. Sasuke opened the map. I found that it was indeed not far from the location circled by Jiraiya. Konoha Village. Two people wearing cloaks and clothes with red cloud patterns suddenly appeared. Itachi, you haven't been back here for a long time. Kisame Kisami's hoarse voice sounded. Yeah, I haven't been back for a long time, and I haven't seen the changes in Konoha so much. There was a hint of sadness in Uchiha Itachi's tone. Tisk, do you even miss the past? By the way, how about getting something to eat before setting off to find the target? Let's go. Uchiha Itachi nodded, and Hoshigaki Kisame walked into the bustling streets of Konoha. Soon, the two came to a meatball shop and found a seat to sit down. I didn't expect that this guy Orochimaru is surprisingly capable. He actually killed all four of Konoha in one go. Hoshigaki Kisame took a sip of tea and said slowly. Uchiha Itachi was silent. A few years ago, he reached an agreement with Third Hokage and Danzo. He personally took action to wipe out the Uchiha clan who were preparing to carry out the coup. On this condition, Uchiha Sasuke was successfully retained. Now, as they die, the truth about themselves may no longer be known. Sasuke, it should be safe now, Uchiha Itachi said silently. He also received news that Sasuke shined in the Chunin exam and successfully defeated Gaara, making small contributions to Konoha's guardianship war. However, the situation in Konoha is now turbulent. As the only bloodline of Uchiha, Sasuke may be attracted and tempted in various ways. He wanted to come back to inquire about the news and give Jiraiya a warning. Suddenly, two figures appeared from the front of the street. Kisame, we should go, otherwise we might be in trouble. Uchiha Itachi said softly. So it's him, Hitaki Kakashi, the copy ninja of Konoha's great name. Kisame looked up. Soon, the two left silently. Hey, Kakashi, didn't you agree that you're going to compete with me today? Come on, now is the time to burn your youth to the fullest. Might Guy said brightly. Guy, let's put the competition aside for now, the guy in trouble is coming to Konoha. Kakashi sighed. Might Guy followed his gaze and saw two ninjas wearing red cloud clothes not far away. This is a member of the Akatsuki organization. Might Guy's pupils shrank. Jiraiya returned to Konoha village and informed them of these powerful Jonin's findings over the years. He recognized at a glance that this outfit belonged to the Akatsuki organization. The two looked at each other and followed silently. At a riverside in Konoha village, Kakashi and his two men appeared and intercepted them. Long time no see, Kakashi. Uchiha Itachi knew his identity was revealed, so he took off his cloak, revealing the Sharingan. HMPH, Itachi, I didn't expect you to dare to come back. Kakashi opened the forehead protector, revealing Sharingan. That's right, Uchiha Itachi, who committed such a serious crime by massacring his compatriots, just let him go without a fight. Might Guy stared at them too. Things have really become troublesome. Kisame Kazaki also took off his cloak. Copy Ninja Kakashi, I can get this title thanks to Uchiha's eyes. Well, let me introduce myself first. I am Kisame Anekasaki. Please give me your advice. Kisame said with a sneer. You are. Might Guy was suddenly startled. The S-class rebel ninja is wanted in the Kingdom of Water for allegedly killing the princes, right? Kakashi added. Sorry, I haven't heard of it. Might Guy scratched his head. Not only do you look very strange, but your words also make people angry. Hoshigaki Kisame looked at Might Guy. It seems that you two will not let us leave easily. Uchiha Itachi said softly. Boom. The battle breaks out suddenly. Hoshigaki Kisame waved the Samahata in his hand and slashed towards the two of them. Might Guy quickly took out his nunchaku and held it in front of him. Leaf strong whirlwind. Then, he swept his legs hard and kicked Kisame, forcing him back. Wow, the two fell to the water. I can't tell that you are quite strong in a strange costume. Inked Kakisame Kisame praised. On the other side, Uchiha Itachi stretched out his hand, and several shurikens flew out of his sleeves. Kakashi dodged nimbly and fell to the water as well. But in the next second, several rotating water jets stabbed him fiercely. What a fast seal formation speed. Kakashi was shocked and immediately used water barrier to block the attack. Water splashed everywhere. Kakashi landed next to Might Guy. Hey, Kakashi, it's been a long time since I've seen you look so embarrassed. Might Guy said. Guy, don't underestimate them. Uchiha Itachi is a genius who entered Anbu at the age of 13, and his strength will only get stronger now. Kakashi didn't finish his words. Behind him, Uchiha Itachi's kunai appeared and stabbed him in the back. Whoosh! The moment Kakashi was stabbed, he turned into water and dissipated. Water body. When Kisame Kazaki was startled, and then thought of the scene where he used water barrier. Bang! The nunchuck struck hard, knocking Kisame back a few steps. You weirdo, you are fighting with me, what are you looking around for? Might Guy looked at him and grinned. Remember, I am Konoha's proud blue beast, Might Guy. Hey, then you, a simple-minded guy, should be a precious beast, right? Kisame roared. Samahata slashed at Might Guy, and the two fought again. 8 inner gates, open. Might Guy's speed surged and he punched him. Kisame blocked Samahata in front of him, but the huge impact still sent him flying. As expected of a precious beast, it's so powerful. Kisame breathed out, come again. Boom. Two water-style ninjutsu collided, causing water mist to fill the sky. Kakashi ACDF, it's really surprising that you, who is not from the Uchiha clan, can use Sharingan to such an extent. Uchiha Itachi spoke. But how will you face this next move? The three Magatama in his eyes rotated, preparing to perform illusions. It's Mangekyo Sharingan's exclusive pupil technique, right? Kakashi suddenly moved his eyes down and stared at Uchiha Itachi's reflection in the water. How did you know? Uchiha Itachi was surprised. This guy Kakashi actually knows the secret of Mangekyo Sharingan. Sasuke is right. Itachi, Mangekyo Sharingan, is not something ordinary Sharingan can compete with. Guy, Kakashi yelled, quickly retreated, and joined Might Guy. Understood, Kakashi, leave this guy to me. Might Guy vs. Uchiha Itachi. Kakashi blocked Inikiha Itachi. Innocent, the power of Mangekyo Sharingan cannot be avoided by changing people. Uchiha Itachi rushed forward. Leaf Great Whirlwind. Might Guy gave the drum a strong kick and forced the drum back. You Guy. Uchiha Itachi looked surprised. The opponent could predict his actions and attack without even looking at him. Humph, it's all thanks to Kakashi's Sharingan. Might Guy swings his nunchucks. Due to his years of fighting with Sharingan, he has developed the ability to attack by observing his opponent's footsteps. Water style, dumpling bomb technique. On the other side, Hoshigaki Kisame performs ninjutsu on Kakashi. However, it was perfectly reproduced by his Sharingan. The two sides ninjutsu collided, and a huge noise was transmitted to the courtyard. This guy is really difficult to deal with. Just as Kisame was thinking about it. Not far away, Yuhi Hong and several Anbu rushed over quickly. It's time to go, why dumpling? Uchiha Itachi frowned. Hoshigaki Kisame nodded slightly and quickly formed the seal. Water style, waterfall water impact. Rumble. Huge waves arose on the river, obscuring the view. When the water splash dispersed, the two of them had already disappeared. The underground stronghold of the Sound Ninja Village. Orochimaru's hands were shaking and his face was in pain. Damn, it's getting worse. Is this what it feels like to be deprived of your soul? Yakushi Kabuto walked up to him holding the medicine. Lord Orochimaru, it's time to take your medicine. This kind of thing is of no use except for psychological comfort. Kabuto, have you found Tsunade? Orochimaru said hoarsely. The pain in his body made him unable to wait any longer. According to the information, Tsunade seems to be in Tanshu Street. Tsunade-sama's characteristics are very obvious, and he will definitely be found within a day or two. Yakushi Kabuto responded. That's good. By the way, let the 5 sound ninjas take action and bring Sasuke to me. You must be prepared, Orochi quickly ordered. Although, based on his understanding of Tsunade, it would be difficult for the other party to refuse this deal. But be prepared first, Master Orochimaru. According to the news from the spies, it seems that Sasuke left Konoha to find Tsunade. Really? Then it's time for us to set off. Orochimaru smiled and stood up slowly. Short Book Street. Shizune looked frustrated and followed Tsunade out of the casino. Oh, I'm really unlucky this time. Tsunade shook her head slightly, but she was used to it. Tsunade-sama, I already told you. Losing so much money at once made Shizune's heart bleed. Shizune, look around, you can make more money. Tsunade didn't take it to heart. Luck was conserved, and one day he would come back. At this time, Sasuke dressed in white appeared and stood in front of the two of them. Wow, what a handsome guy. Upon seeing Sasuke, Shizune's eyes widened. Tsunade frowned slightly. The woman's intuition told her that the handsome guy in front of her seemed to be coming towards her. Tsunade-sama, please take a step to speak. Sasuke smiled slightly and extended his hand to indicate. Little guy, why should I listen to you? Tsunade said deliberately with a smile on his face. Seeing Sasuke's cold look, she couldn't help but want to tease him. Something big happened in Konoha village. Sasuke didn't waste any time and took out a scroll and handed it to her. HMPH, how big can a sleepy leaf be? Tsunade pouted, took the scroll and opened it. The next second, she stopped smiling and looked serious. What's wrong, Tsunade-sama? Shizune on the side was surprised. After following Tsunade for so long, she rarely sees such a serious expression. Tsunade stared at the scroll, read it once, and confirmed it carefully, before looking at Sasuke. Is this information true? Tsunade frowned. The news above was too surprising. Konoha's top brass were all killed in the Orochimaru invasion war. Of course it's true. Well, you saw it. It also has the signature of chakra left by Jiraiya. Sasuke could only point below the scroll. What's the situation? Shizune was a little curious, so she took the scroll and took a look. Suddenly, the news above made her cover her mouth in shock. Tsunade took a deep breath. Since Orochimaru has been defeated, there is no need for me to take action in the matter of Sleepy Leaf. By the way, kid, what's your name? Tsunade suddenly asked. Uchiha Sasuke. Uchiha. Tsunade glanced at Sasuke in surprise. As far as she knew, the Uchiha clan was exterminated a few years ago, leaving only 1 or 2 clan members. Unexpectedly, this handsome boy in front of me is actually the only remaining member of the Uchiha tribe. Sasuke, right, go back. Shizune, let's go. Tsunade was not polite and immediately issued an eviction order. She had already decided in her heart that she was too lazy to care about Konoha's affairs. Wait a minute, Tsunade, you also saw the following content, the position of 5th Hokage. Sasuke started to speak, but was interrupted by Tsunade. Hokage, whoever likes to take this kind of thing, it won't end well in the end anyway. Little guy, don't bother me again. Tsunade took Shizune with him and was about to turn around and leave. Sasuke sighed, as expected. With Tsunade's bold personality, he simply doesn't like the position of Hokage. Like Jiraiya, she has long been used to freedom. The position of Hokage, you have to shoulder so many responsibilities and face all kinds of powerful enemies. I'm not here. Tsunade secretly thought, life and money are different. You only have one life, if you lose money you can still make it again. Sasuke ducked and appeared in front of the two of them. Kid, what do you want to do? Do you want to fight? Tsunade puffed up his chest, stared at Sasuke and said, suddenly, there was a wave of waves. That's not true, but I brought some good stuff. Sasuke said, taking out a bottle of wine from his backpack and uncorking it. Suddenly, the extremely rich aroma of wine spread out. Tsunade couldn't help but shrug the tip of his nose and swallowed hard. This wine smells so good. Tsunade licked her lips. Not only was she addicted to gambling, but she was also addicted to alcohol. The bottle of wine that Sasuke took out almost drained the wine from her stomach. The corners of Sasuke's mouth raised slightly. Just kidding, this bottle of wine was brewed by him himself. As the only person with god-level cooking skills, Sasuke's brewing ability is naturally the best in the ninja world. How's it going? Would you like a drink? When Tsunade heard this, he felt a little moved. No, this is a trap, I can't fall for it. Tsunade suppressed his drunkenness and turned his head away stubbornly. Looks like I have to work harder. Sasuke thought to himself as he opened his backpack and revealed it was full of cash. How about this? Do you want one? Sasuke said seductively. Seeing this, Tsunade had a satisfied smile on his face. Uchiha boy, you are very smart. Then let's go. At this moment, she has forgotten all the traps and traps. Oh, Tsunade-sama, no. Shizune hurriedly shouted, I just lost so much money today. As a big fat sheep who must lose every time he gambles, if he continues to gamble, he will definitely lose miserably. Shut up, Shizune, he's just a brat, I'm going to win back everything I lost today. Tsunade followed Sasuke, and they quickly walked into a nearby tavern. In a private room. Ah, this is such a good wine, so delicious. Tsunade drank a large glass of wine and said drunkenly. Her mature and beautiful face was flushed and she looked very beautiful. Come on, come and drink again, I won't stop getting drunk today. Tsunade raised his glass and muttered. Tsunade-sama, please don't get drunk. Shizune advised carefully from the side. I don't care, I just want to drink. Sasuke looked at his appearance and thought to himself. It seems that the news of Sarutobi Hirazen's death still made her very sad. Sasuke could see the sadness hidden deep in Tsunade's eyes. Hey, Uchiha Sasuke, come on, give me the money quickly. Tsunade said with drunken eyes, we have made an appointment. Okay. Sasuke nodded and poured out all the cash in his backpack. Wow, I really can't tell, you little guy is quite rich. Tsunade's eyes sparkled. The money in front of me is at least 10 million, no, even 20 million taels. What about your bet, Tsunade-sama? Sasuke looked at her. Shizune, give me the money. Tsunade waved his hand. I remember, hiccup, I got 30 million taels today. Shizune immediately covered his face, and sure enough. Tsunade-sama, you have lost everything in the casino before. Lost all. Tsunade turned his head and stared at the small pig in Shizune's hand. Tsunade-sama, what do you want to do? Shizune looked nervous and stepped back. Tsunade, we can't do without a bet. Otherwise, how about we bet on whether you will be the 5th Hokage? Sasuke suddenly suggested. Little handsome boy, you are quite clever, but I refuse. I'm not an idiot, so I wouldn't take this as a bet. Tsunade smiled and looked at the crystal clear sky blue necklace on her chest. Okay, I'll bet you this. She pulled off the necklace and slapped it on the table. This, Tsunade-sama, this is absolutely impossible, this is a relic left to you by the 1st Hokage. Shizune looked panicked, knowing that Tsunade was really drunk. Otherwise, how could she take out such a precious treasure as a bet? Shizune, do you think I will lose? Tsunade stared at her, as if anger was burning in his eyes. No, that's not what I meant, but Shizune couldn't help but complain. As a big loser who always loses in gambling, if you gamble with a necklace, aren't you planning to spend your money like crazy? Okay, let's take a good look. Tsunade turned to look at Sasuke. However, my necklace is worth a lot of money, at least 200 million taels. Okay, let's get started. Sasuke nodded without any objection. Little guy, how much are you going to bet on for the first time? Tsunade smiled. Since this is the first time, the stakes should be smaller. Sasuke thought for a moment and said. Shizune felt relieved while drinking tea. Fortunately, as long as the bet is not big, no matter how bad Tsunade-sama's luck is, he still can't lose this treasure necklace. Then, 10 million taels per handful. Puff. Shizune spurted tea in his mouth and coughed several times. A handful of 10 million taels, is this a bet? She followed Tsunade all over the country and entered so many casinos, but she never saw anyone betting 10 million taels right off the bat. Sasuke secretly thought, how can we not bet bigger? After all, this gem necklace is worth 200 million. The bet is too small. To win her, we have to wait until the year of the monkey. Very good, Sasuke, you are very courageous. Tsunade's eyes flashed with approval. Come, she and Sasuke started drawing cards. After grabbing the cards, Tsunade opened them carefully, but when she looked at them, she immediately frowned. Gone, what a bad luck. In the first hand, both of them opened cards. Tsunade's hand was poor and he lost to Sasuke without a doubt. One more time and I won't believe it. In the second round, there was still no suspense about the result, Sasuke won again. Then, the third one, the fourth one. Tsunade lost. At this time, she had sobered up a bit. What happened? Tsunade bit her red lip. Let's change it. As she spoke, she took out a pair of dice. This time the bet is simple, just compare the size. Result, still pretty much the same. Tsunade lost several games in succession. In less than half an hour, I had already lost a full 100 million taels. Sasuke was speechless. Good guy, I'm sure you'll lose every time you bet. Tsunade's gambling luck is really bad. He didn't do anything, he just sat there and collected the money. As expected, the legendary big fat sheep. Tsunade-sama, I think it's better to forget it today. If you continue, you will lose everything. Sasuke said deliberately, matching his condescending look, which immediately aroused Tsunade's anger. No, keep coming. Tsunade had already been drinking, but when Sasuke irritated him, he immediately became completely addicted. One last bet, just stud and guess the size. Tsunade took a card from the deck and slapped it on the table. Kid, which one do you choose? Sasuke thought for a while. Yes. Okay, then I'll choose the small one. Tsunade turned over the cards. There is no doubt that the cards are really big. Hateful. Tsunade glared at Sasuke and pushed the gem necklace over. I'm willing to admit defeat, now the necklace is yours. Sasuke smiled. Forget it, you might as well keep it. You bastard, who do you think I am, Tsunade? Will I be on your account? Tsunade was a little angry. You can question my character, but there is absolutely no problem with the brand. A gentleman doesn't take away what others like. Since this gem necklace was left by the first Hokage, you should keep it well. Suddenly, Sasuke quickly approached. You brat, what do you want to do? Tsunade was about to retreat when Sasuke's voice sounded softly in her ears. What's more, I don't want to be contaminated by the curse of this necklace. Tsunade was startled and looked at Sasuke in disbelief. What did you say? There was a storm in his heart. How could this little Uchiha guy in front of me know his past? HMPH, I know a lot of secrets. Tsunade, do we want to have another bet? If you lose, how about you just go back and inherit the 5th Hokage? Tsunade frowned. You can gamble, but if you want me to be a Hokage, there's no way. The corner of Sasuke's mouth raised slightly. Sasuke, you really don't want this necklace? Tsunade asked, shaking the gem necklace in his hand. Anyway, after all, she really lost to Sasuke. With her status and gambling items, she wouldn't be a deadbeat. Seeing this, Sasuke reached out and took the necklace from her hand. Then, he approached Tsunade and put it on for her with his own hands. At the same time, Sasuke blew gently into her ear. Stop talking nonsense, just take it if I tell you to. The hot breath in his ears made Tsunade's heart tremble. A blush appeared on his face. This guy seems quite charming. Tsunade's heart Chunin couldn't help but think. Sasuke, what bet are you talking about? Sasuke paused slightly. Let's bet that you will meet an old friend in these 3 days, how about that? Tsunade curled his lips. Don't be stupid, how could it be possible in a place like this? So, do you dare to bet? What are you afraid of? I don't believe that I will lose to you again this time. Tsunade smiled. Short Book Street. On a busy street, Orochimaru and several others appeared on a tall building. This time, in addition to Yakushi Kabuto, the 5 sound ninjas also came with him. Orochimaru is a big, 190, person, and you can't go wrong. Tsunade is still here. According to information, Sasuke was here not long ago. Yakushi Kabuto adjusted his glasses and said, Well, Kimimaro, it's your turn. Orochimaru whispered in a hoarse voice. Yes, Orochimaru-sama. Kimimaro and others responded, and then disappeared in a flash. Lord Orochimaru, I didn't expect that you would even send him here this time. Yakushi Kabuto looked at the street scene in the distance and whispered. Oh, this is Kimimaro's request. He also wants to meet Sasuke. Besides, given his physical condition, you should know it very well, Kabuto. Orochimaru smiled slightly. Yakushi Kabuto was silent. Indeed, as the strongest medical ninja under Orochimaru, he has been responsible for treating Kimimaro. Since the last battle in Konoha, Kimimaro's physical condition has reached its limit. Acting now is entirely based on strong will. Humph, Kimimaro won't live much longer. He also wants to fulfill my long-cherished wish. It's late at night. Tsunade sat alone in the small courtyard, drinking wine. Sasuke has gone back to his room to rest. Of course, he actually returned to Kurigakure with the help of the Flying Thunder God technique. Tsunade-sama, it's so late, why aren't you still sleeping? Shizune came up behind her with Dodo in her arms. Shizune, you should go and rest first, I have something else to do. Tsunade looked at the bright moon and whispered, the scenes in Konoha flashing through his mind. Nawaki, if I don't give you the necklace, maybe you won't. At this moment, Tsunade suddenly frowned. Who? Haha, Tsunade, your senses are still very sharp. From the dark shadows, Orochimaru and Kabuto stepped out. It's you, Orochimaru, what, do you want to catch up with me? Tsunade stared at him with an evil look. Orochimaru. Shizune was a little surprised. So Tsunade and Sasuke lost their bet again. How did this guy Sasuke know that the big snake would come to me? Tsunade frowned slightly. Soon, the 2 Orochimaru walked up to them. Only then did Tsunade notice something unusual about him. Short of breath, cold sweat on his forehead, he seemed to have a severe fever, and his hands. Tsunade noticed that Orochimaru was covered in bandages and his hands were shaking. Orochimaru, it seems that you suffered a lot in the battle with Konoha. She thought to herself, although old man Sarutobi is old. After all, he is their Sanin's master, so he is not so easy to deal with. I'll tell you the truth, I need to ask you to heal my hands. Orochimaru croaked. Humph, then you have found the wrong person. I don't care about this kind of thing anymore. Tsunade snorted. Tsunade-sama, Orochimaru-sama's current situation may only be cured by your intervention. Shut up, little follower. Tsunade interrupted him rudely. Orochimaru, you killed the Hokage of Konoha and yet you dare to beg me, a Konoha shinobi. It's too naive, Tsunade said with a slightly mocking tone. Although, she left Muto in the early years because of a conflict with Sarutobi Hiruzen over the medical plan. But third generation is her teacher after all. She did not take action against Orochimaru's murderous behavior, which was considered a great honor to him. Tsunade, everyone must die, not to mention old man Sarutobi has already half-footed in the grave. Have you forgotten that you have experienced few deaths? For example, the two people you love most. Enough, Orochimaru, shut up. If you keep talking, I'll kill you. Tsunade stared at him with murderous eyes. Ah, you are still such a bad-tempered person. But don't you want to see them again? Use the forbidden ninjutsu I developed, Impure World Reincarnation. Orochimaru's voice was full of temptation. What did you say, Impure World Reincarnation? Tsunade looked at him with shocked eyes. Yes, Impure World Reincarnation can revive them. Of course, the premise is that you have to heal my hands. I can't use ninjutsu now. How about it, don't you think about this deal? Orochimaru sneered. He knows very well that Tsunade is very emotional. She got into casinos and alcohol because she saw the people she loved die twice. Frustrated, I chose to numb myself in this way. Orochimaru, what do you want to do after you heal your hands? Tsunade asked suddenly. Haha, I hate lying, so I'll just tell you. This time, of course I will completely destroy Konoha. Orochimaru's eyes were sharp. Tsunade-sama, you must not agree to him. Shizune yelled with an eager look on his face. Don't forget Nawaki and Uncle's wishes. Shizune stared at the two of them warily. Even if you are like this now, I know that deep down in your heart you are still. That's enough, Shizune. Tsunade interrupted her. Tsunade-sama, he is so weak now. This is a good opportunity. If we join forces, we will definitely be able to kill him, and it will be a blessing for Konoha. Shizune turned around and saw Tsunade with a disappointed look on his face. Tsunade-sama, you are not going to promise him. Shizune said blankly. Well, you don't need to answer me right away, Tsunade, I'll give you 3 days to think about it. I will come to you when the time comes and I look forward to your reply. Let's go, Kabuto. Orochimaru left a few words, and then left with Kabuto. Tsunade-sama, you should know very well how cunning Orochimaru is. Shizune still wanted to persuade her, but Tsunade waved her hand to stop her. Okay, I'm sleepy and I'm going to rest. Tsunade walked into the room and slammed the door. Shizune stared blankly and could only grit his teeth. The next morning, Sasuke looked refreshed. He opened the door and saw a depressed Tsunade and Shizune. For a while, the atmosphere on the court was a little gloomy. Sasuke, actually last night. Well, is this guy Orochimaru here? Sasuke spoke up, interrupting Shizune. This guy came to see Tsunade for treatment on his hands. Moreover, the deal is to resurrect 2 people. You. How did you know? Tsunade and Shizune looked at him in shock. I told you, I know a lot of secrets. And the so-called resurrection of Impure World Reincarnation is too low level. Sasuke shook his head slightly. The body of Impure World Reincarnation is just a combination of cold grave soil and corpses, and cannot be called a living person at all. It is said to be resurrection, but in reality it is just the summoning of souls. The corners of Sasuke's mouth raised slightly. Tsunade, how about we make another bet on whether I can defeat Orochimaru with my strength? It's just you who defeats Orochimaru. How is that possible? Tsunade and Shizune burst into laughter. Sasuke, looking at him, is just a boy of 13 or 14 years old at best. If you were in Konoha, you would just become a genin at this age. Even if he is from the Uchiha clan, he has outstanding strength and can have the strength of a Chunin or even a stronger Jonin. But defeating Orochimaru is still a fantasy. Sasuke, it seems you don't understand how scary Sannin is. Shizune spoke, Even she, if Orochimaru hadn't been weak, would not have dared to fight him head-on. Sasuke, even the old man Hokage died at his hands, do you think you can defeat him? Tsunade looked at Sasuke and asked seriously. Yes, why, don't you dare to bet with me? Sasuke showed a hint of contempt. It seems that the legendary Sannin is nothing more than that. You brat. The veins on Tsunade's forehead twitched slightly. What is it? How about the winner doing 3 things? Don't forget, Tsunade, you've already lost twice. However, looking at you like this, you will lose to me even if you make a triple bet. Okay, I'll make a bet with you. Tsunade stood up and said secretly, there is no way he will lose this time. The boys from the Uchiha family are really ignorant. Do you think that with Sharingan, you can fight against the legendary Sannin? In that case, what is the time you agreed to meet? 3 days, I will meet him in 3 days at the ancient building center on the short side street. Tsunade took a deep breath. If you really defeat him, no matter what your request is, I will agree to it. The deal with Orochimaru is over now. She didn't believe that the Sasuke in front of her really had experience that could shock the entire ninja world. Tsunade-sama, this, Shizune wants to persuade and answer every request, but the stakes are too high. But she was afraid that Tsunade would agree to Orochimaru's request. I feel a little conflicted. Okay, then it's a deal. Sasuke smiled. In the courtyard of the tavern. Well, I finally reached a bet with Tsunade. Sasuke said silently in his mind. This was the plan he had made before he came to Tsunade. The bets grow from simple to complex, and the stakes become more and more high. At first, he tempted Tsunade to make a bet, and the bet only involved money. For Tsunade, who is bound to lose every bet, Sasuke feels that he can win it steadily. Sure enough, he soon won all Tsunade's money. Later, Sasuke planned to make a bet with her to let Tsunade return to Konoha to serve as Hokage. However, he didn't expect Tsunade to be so resistant to being a Hokage. He had no choice but to deliberately provoke Tsunade and make her bet on whether he could defeat Orochimaru. No matter how you look at it, there is no way Sasuke can win this gambling battle. After all, the opponent killed 2 shadows in a row because of the famous big bottle. Sure enough, Tsunade didn't understand his strength and agreed immediately. It seems, I'm going to show some strength this time. Sasuke secretly thought, even if Orochimaru is intact, with his strength now, he is confident that he can defeat him. Not to mention, he was facing a big snake whose hands were sealed and therefore weak. Sasuke, do you still have the wine from yesterday? Tsunade scratched his face and asked a little embarrassed. Yesterday's wine was so delicious. It is the most delicious drink she has ever tasted in the long time she has been traveling in the ninja world. Tsunade thought about it for a while and became a little greedy again. Of course, Sasuke pulled out the scroll, condensed the chakra and took out a few bottles of wine. Tsunade's eyes suddenly lit up. Ah, this taste is really amazing. After Tsunade took a deep breath, he let out a long sigh of relief. By the way, where did you buy this wine? You didn't buy it, but I brewed it myself. Sasuke spoke. You brewed it. Tsunade and Shizune looked at each other in disbelief. They have never heard that the Uchiha clan is good at brewing wine. Compared to brewing, my cooking skills are better, so I'll show you my skills. Sasuke smiled slightly. Soon, Shizune bought a large amount of ingredients and put them in the yard. So, Sasuke began to show off his divine cooking skills. One after another delicious dishes appeared quickly. Just smelling it will make your mouth water. Tsunade and the 2 couldn't help but take a bite, and were even more shocked by the taste. This is so delicious. Sasuke, how on earth did you do that? Tsunade looked at Sasuke with burning eyes. He is obviously a little guy, but the food he cooks. It can be called the best in the ninja world. She has traveled all over the country and has never tasted such delicious food. Sasuke's cooking skills are amazing. If I lived with him and could eat delicious food and wine every day, I would be very happy. Tsunade couldn't help but think. She also has little resistance to delicious food. After all, to maintain the 100 healings mark, you also need to eat a lot and condense a massive amount of chakra. Food is also very important to Tsunade. Tsunade-sama, this is so delicious. Shizune burst into tears and couldn't stop showing off. Even the little pig, Dolphin, drooled all over the floor. If Shizune hadn't tried so hard to stop him, he would have been eaten by it long ago. Hey, eat slowly and leave some for me. Tsunade hurriedly stretched out his chopsticks and shouted to Shizune. Tsunade looks so real. Sasuke couldn't help but think. A smile appeared on his lips. Suddenly, he frowned slightly and looked towards the corner of the yard intentionally or unintentionally. Uchiha Sasuke is here too, his senses are really sharp. Yakushi Kabuto murmured to himself, and his figure quickly disappeared into the darkness. What did you say? Are Sasuke and Tsunade together? HMPH, that's good. It saves me the effort of looking for him. It kills two birds with one stone. Find an opportunity and take him away directly. With his hatred for Uchiha Itachi, he should soon succumb to my power. Orochimaru said excitedly. Yes, Master Orochimaru, do you want me to take action? Yakushi Kabuto pushed up his glasses. In fact, I really wanted to fight against Chunin at the exam venue. Orochimaru turned to look at him. Kabuto, what, are you jealous of Sasuke? Based on what I know about Tsunade, he should agree to my trade request. Remember, don't do anything in front of her, so as not to cause complications, my hands are more important. Orochimaru ordered hoarsely. Lord Orochimaru, if she really doesn't agree, then just use strong tactics. After all, I'm just a prostitute, I think. Kabuto, don't underestimate Tsunade. Orochimaru interrupted him. Sanin, it's not as simple as you think. Once she unlocks the 100 healings mark, it will be very scary. Of course, she still has weaknesses. Really, that's really a pity. Yakushi Kabuto nodded slightly. Hiccup, it's so delicious, I'm finally full. Tsunade burped and patted his belly with satisfaction. Sasuke, thanks for the treat. Hey, is there something wrong with you? Seeing Sasuke hesitate to speak, Tsunade asked. Well, I want to learn some strange power from you, which is the special operation method of chakra. Well, there is no loss in leaving this to you, but this thing can't be done quickly. Tsunade pointed to the blue-purple diamond-shaped mark on his forehead. My strange power mainly comes from the accumulation of chakra over the years. Seeing that Sasuke was still unmoved, Tsunade sighed. Okay then, come with me. After all, eating people has a short mouth, and Tsunade is not easy to refuse. The two came to the wild. Tsunade walked up to a boulder several meters high, gathered chakra, and punched out. Boom! The boulder shattered and turned into countless rubbles flying. Sasuke, listen, let me first explain to you the operation of chakra to use strange powers. As a medical ninja, Tsunade has a very good understanding of the chakra network and acupuncture points throughout the human body. Her explanations are clear and concise. In addition, Sasuke has heaven-defying understanding, and he gradually understood it in a very short period of time. You practice the essence of strange power seriously, understand the operation of chakra, and have an epiphany. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You have realized the precise control of chakra, close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket. You have obtained the same strange power as Tsunade, close black lens bracket. As soon as Tsunade finished explaining, Sasuke already understood it. Okay, Sasuke, I've given you the trick, the next step is to practice more. Although it will be difficult to understand in just a few years, I am optimistic about you. Tsunade waved his hand and was about to leave. Suddenly, there was a roar from behind. She turned around in shock, and was shocked to find that Sasuke punched a huge rock in front of her into pieces. Did you learn it? Tsunade opened his mouth in shock. No, I just finished speaking. Where did this guy come from? This talent and understanding are too terrifying. Think about how much hardship I had to endure in order to learn my strange powers. And it took a lot of time to gradually master it. How did it come to him that it was as simple as eating and drinking? Naturally, it was done in one go. Compared with Sasuke, her Sanong looks so useless. Fortunately, it doesn't seem too difficult. You'll learn it after a little practice. Sasuke smiled slightly. Due to the infinite chakra refining method, the chakra in Sasuke's body has been continuously condensing independently for a long time. The control of chakra is no less than that of Tsunade. As soon as he thought about it, he immediately grasped the essence. You guy. Tsunade gritted her silver teeth in anger. Even if you learn your own special skills, you still look like a stinker. Just because you have high talent, you look down on others, right? Night falls. On a mountain wall around Kurigakure. Sasuke blew the cold wind and looked at the bright moon in the sky. What, are you worried? Terumi Mei slowly approached, hugged Sasuke from behind and asked softly. Don't worry, it's just a matter of cultivation. By the way, get out of the way, I feel like I'm about to break through. Sasuke spoke. Terumi Mei nodded and stepped back. Sasuke condenses minds and continuously strengthens the chakra in his body. Gradually, he fell into a mysterious state, faintly echoing the bright moon in the sky. A large amount of pure moonlight power is continuously absorbed into Sasuke's body. This is. Terumi Mei looked on with surprise. Although she couldn't see the moonlight absorbed by Sasuke, she could see the powerful energy fluctuations around her. But Terumi Mei was terrified. Sasuke, how do you practice? Terumi Mei was secretly surprised, and soon a smile appeared on her face. Anyway, she is Sasuke's woman now, and the stronger Sasuke becomes, the happier she will be. Even if Sasuke creates another heaven-defying trick, she will also benefit. Just like those mysterious Tao patterns last time. At the same time, in Sasuke's mind, the waning moon, which was originally like a crescent moon and composed entirely of mental power, began to gradually expand with the power of the moonlight. The powerful mental fluctuations centered on him and quickly spread to all directions. In this state, Sasuke seems to be far away from the world. All movement within a few kilometers around him was beyond his perception. Whether it's the faint chirping of insects, the rustling of leaves, or the whistling wind. It was as if he had opened his eyes and could see everything. At a certain moment, his mental power reached its limit. In Sasuke's mind, a huge crescent moon slowly appeared. Finally, I have reached the crescent moon chapter. Sasuke opened his eyes in surprise. After entering the third chapter, his mental power skyrocketed again. Now his mental strength is probably super high. Following this, his perception ability also underwent earth-shaking changes. I'm afraid, it's no less than the top sensory ninjas like Xiangling. My Sharingan has also evolved into a 3 Magatama, and with the skyrocketing mental power. Sasuke is full of confidence for the next battle with Orochimaru. His Sharingan is different from ordinary Uchiha. After being purified by the bloodline essence purification method, even though it is only 3 Magatama. In terms of strength, it is not even inferior to Mangekyo. Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Comprehension Heaven-Defying, Rebirth Sasuke, Revitalization. Chapter 71. Soon, Sasuke's breath gradually became calmer. How's it going? Was the breakthrough successful? Terumi Mei approached and asked, but she looked closely at Sasuke and didn't seem to notice any changes. My breakthrough this time is not a physical change, but a mental strength. Sasuke saw this and pointed at his head. After the mental power breakthrough, my current perception ability is enough to cover the entire Kurigakure. How about it? It's awesome. Sasuke hugged Terumi Mei and said softly. Well, it's really awesome. Terumi Mei touched Sasuke's face, smiled and nodded. The perception ability that can cover the 5 major ninja villages is already considered the best in the ninja world. Like Konoha village, usually a barrier covering the entire village needs to be opened, requiring an entire sensory class. Moreover, you also need to use ninja tools to expand your perception. From now on, sister, I will be waiting to hold your thigh. Terumi Mei lightly opened her red lips and whispered in his ear. Sasuke smiled slightly. A long time. Terumi Mei lay next to Sasuke, and the two looked at each other and smiled. By the way, Sister Miming, after I break through this time, I need some illusions, so please help me collect them. Don't worry, I'll take care of this little thing, you just need to keep getting stronger. Terumi Mei's slender fingers gently tapped his forehead. Sasuke said nothing, just hugged her tightly. Now, the time is ripe, it is time for him to create a powerful illusion. Although he has heaven-defying understanding, it is still very time-consuming to deduce and create things out of thin air. Collect a large number of illusion skills as a foundation and stand on the shoulders of those who came before you, and you will be more efficient. HMPH, the strength of my illusion will definitely be no less than that of Tsukuyomi and others. Sasuke waited silently. Early the next morning, Sasuke casts the Flying Thunder God technique and leaves. Terumi Mei stretched herself and returned to Kurigakure to start working. Sasuke, where did you go last night? When Tsunade saw Sasuke coming back, he frowned and asked. Well, I'm going to practice. Sasuke's words were vague, but he was right. By the way, where's Shizune? Why isn't she there? Seeing that Tsunade was alone, Sasuke asked. She went to buy wine for me. The wine you made is indeed delicious, but it's just a little lacking. Sasuke was speechless. Tsunade can drink more than a dozen bottles in one night, just the way she drinks. After a few days, all the wine he brought was drunk. Suddenly, Sasuke had a thought in his mind. Tsunade, your weakness is still. Weakness? What weakness do I have? Tsunade said carelessly. If I really have a weakness, it would be my gambling habit, and you kid took advantage of me. I mean, hemophobia. Tsunade was startled, his face gradually darkened, and a trace of sadness flashed across his face. Sasuke sighed, it seemed like he wasn't feeling well yet. Tsunade, he has passed away, but his spirit will live on forever. There is no point in dwelling on the past, and they don't want you to. That's enough, you little devil, how much do you know about my life and experiences? Anyone can say such boring words. Tsunade yelled at Sasuke. No, I know everything, and... Sasuke opened his eyes, and 3 Magatama appeared in his eyes. Suddenly, Tsunade felt that the world around him was spinning, and a strange beam of darkness appeared. Illusion, you little brat. Suddenly, in front of Tsunade, the cute 7-year-old Sasuke quickly ran towards the quiet street. This is... Sasuke suddenly appeared next to Tsunade. This is my memory. Tsunade was startled, and he vaguely guessed something. Really? Silent street. The slaughtered tribesmen. These bloody scenes appeared in front of Tsunade. The image of Sasuke showing Uchiha Itachi using Tsukuyomi on him completely appeared in front of Tsunade. The dripping blood made Tsunade couldn't help but tremble. But little Sasuke's screams, cries, sadness. This made Tsunade's heart tremble even more. Especially when she saw Uchiha Itachi swinging a knife at her parents. She closed her eyes in pain. It's too awful. Sasuke's experience was much more miserable than hers. Especially when he faced all this, he was just a 7-year-old child. It's hard to imagine how such a young child got here. Reality, Sasuke gently hugged Tsunade's shaking body. There is no point in dwelling on the sorrow of the past. The once precious memories will remain forever and give you strength. The two were like lone wolves in pain, licking each other's wounds. At this moment, Tsunade seemed to have a connection with Sasuke. His words also made Tsunade think. Her trembling body gradually calmed down. Sasuke is right. Fortunately for her to have lived for so long, she might as well have lived a thorough life as a young man. A long time. Tsunade calmed down and felt Sasuke's breath. A blush appeared on her face. Okay, Sasuke, let me go. Sasuke's chest made Tsunade feel safe for a long time. No, I won't let you go. Sasuke murmured quietly. He couldn't bear to let go of this opportunity to get close. Tsunade stretched out his finger and flicked Sasuke's forehead. You little guy. Tsunade smiled slightly and let Sasuke hold him. Suddenly, the door of the room opened. Hey, Tsunade-sama, what are you doing? Shizune was holding the drink with a shocked look on his face. Ahem, it's nothing. The two immediately separated and pretended as if nothing had happened. Yeah, Shizune glanced at the two of them suspiciously. Tsunade rolled her eyes at Sasuke, it's all your fault that Shizune saw me. What a shame. Tsunade couldn't help but blush. In the small forest outside Tanchu Street, Sasuke sat cross-legged, slowly sensing himself with his tyrannical mental power. Learn strange powers, coupled with my physical strength. Well, it's time to open the second palace. Sasuke secretly thought in his heart, the second palace of the human body corresponds to the giant gate star. It's called Shinweidao Palace. After opening the Shinweidao Palace, the effect is very simple, it is to increase physical strength. Simple and practical. In fact, whether it's Tsunade's strange power or Shadome's ninja. Although the performance is explosive, in essence it is still using chakra. Their physical strength is far less powerful than this. Even third Raikage, who is good at physical body, if he does not use lightning-style chakra to stimulate cells to stimulate power, but simply uses physical power, it's absolutely impossible to compete head-on with a tailed beast. But Shinwei Dao Palace is different. After it is turned on, it can indeed give the caster extremely powerful power. As long as you practice to the later stage, you can even defeat the tailed beast. You know, the main reason why tailed beasts can possess so much power is because of their huge size. Using a mere human body to unleash the power of a tailed beast, there is no doubt that the destructive power will be even more terrifying. Suddenly, Sasuke opened his eyes bright. Finally found. It turns out that the second palace is located in the chest. Sasuke no longer hesitated, controlling chakra with his mental power, and quickly rushed into the acupuncture point on his chest. Soon, a star like a small sun, emitting vast power fluctuations, appeared in front of Sasuke. Go! Sasuke condensed the chakra all over his body, turned his fists into sharp blades, and struck hard at it. Suddenly, Sasuke groaned and his whole body muscles trembled. Even on his body surface, there was a faint feeling of the ball being sent out. Come again. With his current physical body, it is strong enough to sustain it. So, Sasuke gritted his teeth and attacked again. Bang bang. There was a dull sound coming from his body. Shinwei Dao Palace, open. As Sasuke growled, his chest lit up. At the same time, the stars in the universe outside the ninja world, the giant gate star, emit bright light, echoing Sasuke from a distance. Wisps of star power that are invisible to the naked eye continue to pour into Sasuke's body from the distant starry sky. And Sasuke's body, trained by the power of the stars, quickly became stronger. When Sasuke breaks through the Shinwido Palace, Tsunade and Shizune, as agreed, rushed to the ancient building complex in the center of the short side street. On the roof, Orochimaru and the other two people looked into the distance and smiled when they saw Tsunade's figure. Kimimaro, I didn't expect you to come too. Yakushi Kabuto pushed up his glasses with a look of fear on his face. Today is the most important moment for Orochimaru-sama. Of course I have to take action. By the way, where's Uchiha Sasuke? Why didn't I see him? Kimimaro said coldly. He is practicing in the forest not far away. However, Tayuya and the others have already rushed over, and he will be brought to Lord Orochimaru soon. Yakushi Kabuto said confidently. Kimimaro heard this and nodded slightly. He's also curious about Sasuke, of course, mainly because Orochimaru is interested in him. Tsunade is here, Kimimaro, Kabuto, if Tsunade is willing to treat, you don't have to take action. If she refuses, she can only use strong methods, remember. Yes, Orochimaru-sama. The two nodded slightly. Let's go and meet this medical ninja who is famous in the ninja world. Orochimaru sneered. Tsunade-sama, why didn't Sasuke show up? Didn't he say, let us rush over, he will be there soon? Shizune looked around, but couldn't see Sasuke, and suddenly became a little panicked. Suddenly, her expression changed. Could he have escaped from the battlefield? Tsunade frowned slightly, recalling the scene where Sasuke learned his strange powers and was in the illusion space. No, he won't escape, she said decisively. But, now the time has come, Qian Nujiao. Shizune looked worried. To be honest, she thought it was nonsense when Sasuke said he wanted to challenge Orochimaru. Looking at it now, it seems even more unreliable. If he dares to play tricks on us, I will definitely kill him. Tsunade clenched his fists and said coldly. At this moment, the descendants appeared. Well, there is one more person here than last time. Tsunade and the two looked at Kimimaro. His expression was cold, making it difficult to tell the truth. Tsunade, since you are here, it means the deal is done. Orochimaru's eyes showed a hint of excitement. Wait for a while, wait for someone to come over. Tsunade glanced at him and said coldly. Waiting for someone, could it be Uchiha Sasuke? Unfortunately, he won't come over. Orochimaru smiled sinisterly. You guy, could it be that? Tsunade gritted his teeth and glared at him. Oh, Tsunade, are you angry? Is it possible that you value Sasuke? Asshole, tell me clearly, Orochimaru, what the hell did you do to him? Tsunade said coldly. The killing intent in his tone made Shizune tremble slightly. Orochimaru-sama. Yakushi Kabuto also motioned to him. Orochimaru narrowed his eyes slightly and still said calmly. Sasuke, he is indeed excellent and handsome. Could it be that you are attracted to him? No way, considering your age. Asshole, I'm going to kill you. Tsunade roared, jumped up, and kicked Orochimaru. The three Orochimaru were startled and hurriedly dodged back. Boom! A big hole was made in the ground, and the surrounding land was also covered with spider web-like cracks. Tsunade, you are still such a bad-tempered person. Orochimaru's voice was deep. He didn't expect that Tsunade would suddenly take action. Lord Orochimaru, I told you earlier. Yakushi Kabuto sighed, now things are getting tricky. Tsunade quickly took off his jacket. Wait, Tsunade, don't you want to see Nawaki again? Orochimaru said hoarsely. Upon hearing this, Tsunade froze on the spot. Yes, you want to see them. As long as my hands are healed, I can fulfill your wish. Orochimaru continued to bewitch. Indeed, I really want to see them, but their memories are already engraved in my heart. Now, what I want to do more is kill you. Tsunade raised his head sharply, his eyes firm. Damn it, the negotiation failed. Orochimaru understood the moment he saw her eyes. Tsunade raised his leg and approached the three of them at an alarming speed. She punched out, and there was a boom, and the surrounding wall buildings collapsed one after another. What a terrifying strange power. If I were hit, I would probably die. Yakushi Kabuto muttered. However, it is an honor for me to fight against the legendary Sannin. Lord Orochimaru, let me strike first. Yakushi Kabuto condensed chakra scalpel in his hands and spoke. HMPH, Kabuto, you are still so competitive, go ahead. Upon hearing this, Yakushi Kabuto's face flashed with excitement and he quickly rushed forward. He was adopted by Konoha's medical team since he was a child, and he has been listening to Tsunade, a legend in the medical field. Now, he wants to see how his strength compares with Tsunade. Chakra scalpel, this guy doesn't seem to be simple. Tsunade frowned slightly. Kimimaro, won't you come? Orochimaru turned around and asked. Kabuto alone may not be a match for Tsunade. Lord Orochimaru, my main duty is to protect you, I have no interest in anything else. Kimimaro said coldly. Orochimaru looked at the two fighting in front with interest. If Kabuto is defeated, we have to take action. Yes, Kimimaro nodded. Wow. In the silent forest, the sound of dancing leaves suddenly sounded, and the sound became louder and louder. Suddenly, a figure appeared. His figure flashed slightly and appeared dozens of meters away. At this moment, Sasuke is shirtless, his thick arms are like thighs, and the muscles on his arms are like steel bars. He looks extremely scary. He walked to a boulder several meters high and stretched out his hand. The arm was inserted into the rock easily as if it were threaded through tofu, and then with a strong effort, it was lifted up. Sasuke's whole body burst out with terrifying strength, holding the boulder firmly. Sasuke waved his hand and threw the boulder forward. Boom! A large number of trees were broken and collapsed by boulders, raising a large cloud of dust. At the same time, Sasuke's originally prominent muscles, surprisingly thick arms, and legs slowly shrank. Soon, he returned to the level of a normal person, and there was no trace of the ferocious muscles hidden under this body. Ha! Tao Palace is indeed the leading force, and it caused such a change in my body. Sasuke breathed out. Looking at his physical strength alone, his ability now surpasses that of Tsunade Raikage, and he is firmly ranked first in the ninja world. Suddenly, Sasuke frowned. In his perception, 4 figures were approaching quickly not far away. It turns out they are the 4 sound ninjas. Are they under Orochimaru's orders? The corners of Sasuke's mouth raised slightly. Asiya. Although these guys are pretty good, facing him will definitely lead to death. Swish swish. Soon, they appeared in front of Sasuke through the woods. Sasuke-sama, please come with us. Kidomaru said with a sneer. Yes, Master Orochimaru wants to see you, let's go. Sakin is also staring at him. Once Sasuke refuses, they will take action immediately. It just so happens that I have to go see Orochimaru, but before that, I have to take care of you. Sasuke's eyes were cold and filled with murderous intent. The 4 of them looked at each other with playful smiles on their faces. Jirobo, then go play with him. Saken spoke. Jirobo nodded, stood up, and rushed towards Sasuke with his huge body. Sasuke stood there and waved his palm gently. Boom. Jirobo's whole body was like a spinning top, flying backwards and hitting the ground heavily. He was vomiting blood from the corner of his mouth and looked very embarrassed. You fat pig, you are really useless. Tayuya cursed in a low voice, get up quickly. Bloodshot eyes appeared in Jirobo's eyes, and the curse mark on his body spread rapidly. His hair quickly grew longer, his skin turned black, and he directly entered State 2. Earth-style barrier downed prison hall. Jirobo formed a seal with his hands, and a huge rock dungeon appeared from under Sasuke's feet, suddenly covering him. First absorb his chakra to make him unable to resist, and then hand it over to Orochimaru-sama. Jirobo licked his lips. Oh, what use can such a fragile barrier be used for? Sasuke's voice came from the dungeon, and then he punched out. Boom! The dungeon barrier turned into rubble and collapsed. What? He shattered the barrier with just one punch. The 4 sound ninjas opened their eyes wide and couldn't believe it. This trick of Jirobo is very difficult to deal with, and it will be difficult for other people to break through it if they are locked in. Unexpectedly, for Sasuke, the dungeon was useless. Quick, dirty. A few people realized that they were in big trouble and quickly got out of the way, appearing in 4 directions of Sasuke. Boundary Ninjutsu, 4 Purple Sun Formation. The 4 people put their hands together and formed a purple flame array, instantly trapping Sasuke. Obviously, they realized that Sasuke's strength was far above them. He planned to use barrier ninjutsu to trap him first. But with a bang, Sasuke in the barrier dissipated and turned into a piece of wood. What? It's body replacement technique. The 4 of them were shocked. Then, Sasuke appeared in front of Jirobo and grabbed his neck. Jirobo wanted to struggle, but Sasuke's hands were like iron pincers, preventing him from moving. Kiaro technique activates. In an instant, Fang's strong body shriveled up quickly. A large amount of earth-style chakra was absorbed into Sasuke's body and fused. Well, Jirobo struggled a few times, lost all movement, and his hands and feet hung down weakly. Then, Sasuke threw Si Longfang's body aside like trash. Weak, you are too weak. Sasuke raised the corner of his mouth and stared at the other 3 people. Not good, his strength. He's too strong, hurry up. The remaining people were so scared that they felt like they were dead, and they quickly activated the curse seal to enter the second state. Summoning technique. Kitamura was about to form a seal, but Sasuke flashed and appeared in front of him. A light punch came out. The terrifying impact instantly tore Kitamura's body fluid armor apart. The powerful force penetrated into the body and shattered his internal organs. How is it possible? Just me. His 3 eyes were wide open, he took a few steps back and fell to the ground dead. The second, Sasuke turned around and looked at the remaining 2 people. He kicked his legs and turned into a beam towards Saken. Summoning technique, Rashomon. Saken looked panicked and slapped the ground with his hand. Boom! The huge and thick grimace gate suddenly emerged from the ground, blocking him in front of him. Chidori Light Blade. Sasuke's speed continued unabated, and the blue-white light blade streaked across the front. Poof! The huge Rashomon gate, together with the left side hiding behind it, was cut into 2 pieces with one sword. Blood spurts out, and you can't die again. Magic flute dream sound lock. Tayuya in the distance took the opportunity to play the flute. Illusion. It's too weak. This is the real illusion. Sasuke opened his eyes, his Magatama eyes spinning. Tayuya felt that everything in front of him was completely white, with only a huge crescent moon left. With a thud, he fell to the ground. Sasuke just wanted to take action against Tayuya. Suddenly, his expression changed, and he used the Flying Thunder God technique and disappeared instantly. In the open wilderness, Tsunade used physical skills to continuously attack Yakushi Kabuto. Kabuto tried his best to dodge, and he occasionally used Chakra Scalpel to counterattack, but Tsunade slapped him away. This guy Tsunade, after so many years of not fighting, his body has become sluggish. Orochimaru looked at it from a distance and commented at the same time. Suddenly, Shizune took action. Whoosh! A large number of densely packed poisonous needles were fired at Orochimaru. The white bones of Kimimara's arm appear, blocking all attacks. I almost forgot, Tsunade also has a little follower. But she's useless, Kimimaro, get rid of her. Kimimaro took off his coat, pulled out the bone knife from his shoulder, and killed him. Shizune's face tightened. Boom. Tsunade punched out again, drunken boulder. The powerful impact knocked Yakushi Kabuto away after hiding behind the boulder. In midair, he took out a pill and threw it into his mouth. Is it Bing Liang pill, used to replenish physical strength? Damn it, this damn slippery guy. Tsunade was furious. She hadn't fought hard for many years, which made her reaction slower. Moreover, the glasses in front of me are very powerful, but they never confront her head-on. The chakra scalpel used is very dangerous, which makes Tsunade always unable to catch him. Tsunade-sama, I'm not very good at physical arts, so I can only rely on medicine. After swallowing the Bingliang pills, Yakushi Kabuto's physical strength recovered a lot. Now, keep fighting. He dashed forward, chakra scalpel slapping Tsunade on the chest. Bang! Tsunade also focused his chakra sword to block the attack. Then, she turned her wrist and grabbed Yakushi Kabuto's arm. The corners of Tsunade's mouth raised slightly. I caught you. Not good. Yakushi Kabuto was shocked. In the next second, his whole body was lifted up by Tsunade, and he was thrown over his shoulder and hit hard on the ground. Boom! A huge crater was made on the ground, and blood spurted out from Yakushi Kabuto's mouth. Suffer death. Tsunade chakra condensed into his fist, and he was about to take action to kill him. Good chance. Orochimaru's eyes turned cold. The sharp Kusanagi sword ejected from his mouth and stabbed Tsunade in the back. Tsunade-sama. Not far away, Shizune exclaimed in despair. Seeing that Orochimaru is about to succeed. Suddenly, Sasuke appeared and kicked out. Boom! Orochimaru's body flew out. After rolling a few times, he got up awkwardly. Is it you, Sasuke? Orochimaru's pupils narrowed slightly. Orochimaru stared at Sasuke with a shocked expression. Just now, the way he appeared was so weird. There was no movement at all, as if it appeared out of thin air. Sasuke, you are so surprising every time you show up, and you actually killed 4 of them. Orochimaru's face softened and he sneered. If you can't handle such a small thing, those losers are really useless. Orochimaru cursed inwardly. Even if you can't defeat Sasuke, wouldn't you use barrier ninjutsu to trap him? Yakushi Kabuto quickly got up, dodged a few times, and retreated to the big snake. Hey, Orochimaru, we met again, but it seems you were surprised by my appearance. A contemptuous smile appeared on Sasuke's face. Sasuke, are you okay? Tsunade saw Sasuke appear and was surprised. She heard Orochimaru's words before and thought something bad happened to Sasuke. Tsunade, don't forget, I still have a bet with you. Sasuke turned and smiled. But how did you get here? Tsunade looked confused. Hey, I secretly laughed the chakra technique on you. Just to prevent this. Sasuke looked proud. Flying Thunder God's chakra technique would not disappear under normal circumstances. It was from when he snuggled with Tsunade before. Chakra technique. Could it be Flying Thunder God technique? Tsunade and Orochimaru both reacted. Shock flashed deep in their eyes. Flying Thunder God technique has been spread in Konoha for a long time, and many talented ninjas have learned it. Unfortunately, only the 4th Hokage learned it in the end. Unexpectedly, Sasuke has learned it now. What an enviable talent. Orochimaru sighed in his heart. He also learned Flying Thunder God a long time ago, but unfortunately he did not have the talent for time and space ninjutsu. Now, seeing Sasuke's performance, he wants to take his body even more. Kimimaro, come along, Orochimaru quickly ordered. Kimimaro looked at Sasuke indifferently. He actually became an enemy of Orochimaru-sama. In an instant, he activated the curse seal calendar. The earth curse mark on his body quickly spread all over his body, his skin turned brown and black, a huge tail grew out, and he entered state 2. This guy is also very troublesome. Tsunade frowned. Except for Orochimaru, his 2 men were of extraordinary strength. She formed a seal with her hands, preparing to untie the 100 healings mark. Wait a minute, we agreed that the final bet is for me to defeat Orochimaru alone. Sasuke waved her off. Sasuke, stop making trouble, there are 3 people on the opposite side, and the other 2 are close to me in strength, you. Tsunade said eagerly. In this case, how could Sasuke be their opponent if he fights alone? Don't worry, leave it to me, you can just watch from the side. Sasuke's voice is firm and full of confidence. I know, be careful. Tsunade nodded slightly. Sasuke's words also infected Tsunade. Make her inexplicably confident. As expected of the Uchiha clan, they are really arrogant. Seeing that Sasuke was about to take action alone, Orochimaru said with a gloomy expression. In his mind, he couldn't help but recall the scene when he faced Uchiha Itachi. He lost that battle, and it was a disastrous failure. More importantly, Uchiha Itachi's contemptuous eyes deeply hurt his self-esteem. This strengthened his determination to seize Uchiha's bloodline. Stupid boy, I'm going to make you pay the price. Orochimaru roared. He bit the Kusanagi sword and quickly killed Sasuke. Well, pissed off, Sasuke smiled scornfully and inspired the power of the Divine Way Palace. In an instant, his arms, legs, and muscles all over his body expanded rapidly. The body also quickly rose up, and the oppressive body stared at Orochimaru Sanzuki. Sasuke punched hard. Boom! The terrifying force rubs against the air, forming a stream of flames that hits Orochimaru. Sasuke punched Orochimaru in the air, sending him flying away. What? It's actually an air cannon. This kind of power. He was stunned by Sasuke's taijutsu. A punch has such power, he has never seen such a powerful body. What's wrong? Don't you want my body? Sasuke raised his finger at him contemptuously. Orochimaru, why don't you come over? Pocket. Orochimaru bit his hands and growled. Yakushi Kabuto immediately stepped forward and performed the double summoning technique. With huge white smoke coming out, the huge fortune snake, which is tens of meters long at both ends, was summoned. Hiss. The giant snake spat out a message, and its huge head rushed towards Sasuke. But Sasuke stayed where he was. Danger, Sasuke, get out of the way. Tsunade shouted eagerly. Boom, the ground cracks. Two giant snakes collided towards each other, but Sasuke stretched out his palms to catch them. No further progress can be made. What kind of monster are you? On the head of the giant snake, Orochimaru and the three people's eyes widened. You can stop such a huge giant summoning beast with just your physical strength. Is this still a human being? Rise! Sasuke roared, grabbed the giant snake with both hands and swung it forward. Like shaking a loach, it directly overturned the giant snake's huge body to the ground. Boom! The ground within tens of meters around it shattered inch by inch, leaving a huge deep pit. Then, Sasuke jumped into the sky, formed seals with his hands, and a huge hot fireball spewed out. Hiss! The flames blended with the power of the sun were extremely hot, burning to the point where the two giant snakes screamed in pain. The thud soon dissipated. The three Orochimaru slowly emerged from the charred earth. Uchiha Sasuke, so scary. Yakushi Kabuto broke out in cold sweat on his forehead. Horrible. Whether it's physical skills or ninjutsu, every move is extremely powerful. He was thinking about fighting Sasuke before, but now, it's totally too long-lived. Orochimaru's face turned very ugly. Sasuke's strength completely exceeded his imagination. He thought Sasuke was just a young eagle, but he didn't expect that he had become a golden rock soaring in the sky. Kabuto, Kimimaro, don't hold back anymore, otherwise, it will be difficult for us to leave today. Orochimaru realized something was wrong and said in a low voice. Yes. The two nodded and used ninjutsu to kill Sasuke. Kimimaro was extremely fast, flashed in front of Sasuke, and flicked his tail. Sasuke reached out and grabbed his tail with his hands like iron pliers. Not bad physical skills, but it's a pity. Before Sasuke finished speaking, Kimimaro jumped into the air and was grabbed by the tail and smashed to the ground. Boom, boom, once, twice. The earth trembled, leaving huge craters like spider webs. Under such terrifying force, all the bones in Kimimaro's body began to break. Call out. At this moment, Yakushi Kabuto used the chakra scalpel and cut Sasuke's neck insidiously. Ha! A red chakra coat appears, blocking the blow. At the same time, thunder and lightning raged across Sasuke's body, instantly electrocuting Yakushi Kabuto until his whole body was blackened. How does Chidori Ryu taste? Sasuke smiled slightly. Dead bone pulse, 10-finger piercing bullets. Suddenly, Kimimaro flicked his hands, and his finger bones shot like bullets towards Sasuke. Clang clang clang. It sounds like the collision of gold and iron. The finger bone shot against the hard muscle and was bounced away. Suddenly, Kimimaro's tail broke and he quickly ran away. Ahem. He coughed violently and a lot of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. Orochimaru glanced at Kimimaro worriedly. His body has reached its limit. Kimimaro was seriously injured and was attacked by Sasuke powerfully. The situation has deteriorated rapidly. Boom. Sasuke moved his legs at an astonishing speed, like a bull charging, and knocked Kimimaro away. In midair, Kimimaro's eyes dimmed. Lord Orochimaru, it's a pity that I can no longer serve you. The moment he landed, he wanted to activate his final ninjutsu. However, Sasuke moves faster. Flash behind him, grab him, and activate the Scrooge technique. Dead bone pulse, I will accept it. The next second, Kimimaro's consciousness fell into darkness. On the other side, Yakushi Kabuto struggled to get up. Under the repair of Yinyu's injuries, the injuries of Teitoryu have been healed quickly. Lord Orochimaru, let's retreat. Seeing Kimimaro being easily killed by Sasuke, Yakushi Kabuto couldn't bear the fear. Kabuto, you are such a waste. Orochimaru stared at him with murderous intent, causing Yakushi Kabuto to retreat in horror. The next second, his body quickly twisted and expanded. It's been a long time since I fought in this form. In an instant, Orochimaru transformed into a ferocious giant snake with 8 heads and 8 tails, and a body covered with white phosphorus. The most powerful ninjutsu, Yaki technique. This guy. Has actually revealed his true identity. Tsunade gritted his teeth slightly. Obviously, Orochimaru had been forced into a desperate situation. Rumble. Yamada no Orochi attacks Sasuke. It opened its big mouth, revealing its white fangs, and kept biting Sasuke, trying to swallow him whole. Damn it Sasuke, I'm going to eat you. Orochimaru's roar echoed, as long as he swallowed Sasuke. He will immediately perform the corpse transformation and seize Sasuke's body. Sasuke's muscle form returned to its original state and his speed surged, dodging his attacks. It seemed like he would be bitten by Orochimaru at any moment. Haha, it is indeed the strongest form, almost comparable to Wowong. Sasuke laughed. With Orochimaru's current huge body, conventional ninjutsu is useless. Sasuke raised his foot and hit the white snake on the head. Hiss. The big white snake was slightly shaken by the smash. Sasuke, you can't hurt me. Orochimaru's cold voice came, and the other heads swarmed up and surrounded him instantly. Your body is mine. Orochimaru laughed maniacally and swallowed it in one gulp. No, Sasuke. In the distance, Tsunade was heartbroken when he saw this scene. Damn it, Orochimaru. There were tears in her eyes, and the blue-purple diamond-shaped mark on her forehead suddenly lit up. The 100 healings mark is unlocked, and a large amount of chakra spurts out. Sudden, the Yamada no Orochi's body emits a dazzling golden light. Orochimaru, your ability is nothing more than this. Sage Art, Chidori Ryu. The color of heaven and earth changes. Golden lightning surges out of Orochimaru's body. All the heads of Yamada no Orochi raised their heads and screamed in pain. Boom. The next second, its body became violent. Sasuke's body is covered with golden lines and suspended in the sky. Sage Art, Chidori Light Blade. A huge and dazzling golden light blade fell from the sky, splitting the Yamada no Orochi directly. Zizizi. The golden thunder raged and wiped out all the remains of the white snake. Sasuke is suspended in the sky with astonishing power, like a god. Tsunade and Shizune were stunned for a moment. So strong, he killed Orochimaru with just one strike. Tsunade murmured to himself, then his face showed joy. Soon, Sasuke fell from the sky and came to her. How's it going? I'm right, I'm enough to deal with Orochimaru on my own. Sasuke said with a slightly proud smile. Well, good job. I didn't expect you to really. You won this bet. I am willing to admit defeat. You can make any 3 requests. Suddenly, Tsunade seemed to think of something and blushed. If you say this yourself, you won't let Sasuke misunderstand. By the way, I almost forgot, there is also a little mouse. Sasuke suddenly turned his head. Lord Orochimaru is dead, how is that possible? Just now, Sasuke showed off his kamui, and the terrifying sword seemed to split the world. Terrible. Yakushi Kabuto broke into cold sweat on his forehead. He was scared to death. Run. Run away before he notices me. He could no longer care about anything else and wanted to use Earth-style ninjutsu to escape immediately. Facing such a terrifying Sasuke, Yakushi Kabuto completely lost the courage to resist. Suddenly, Sasuke dodged and stood in front of him. Kabuto, where do you want to go? 2, 5, 3. Sasuke raised the corners of his mouth slightly and stared at him. Yakushi Kabuto's legs weakened and he fell to the ground. Sasuke stepped forward and slapped him with his palm. The Flying Thunder God spell was left on him. Don't think about running away. With the Flying Thunder God's mark, I can appear by your side at any time. If you weren't still valuable, the Chidori Ryu just now would have killed you. I think you should know Orochimaru's bases everywhere. Sasuke said coldly. Yakushi Kabuto nodded hurriedly. I know, don't kill me. Sasuke waved his hand, and Chidori Senbon shot out, sealing the chakra acupuncture point on Yakushi Kabuto's body. To prevent you from playing tricks, seal your chakra first. At this time, Tsunade and 2 people also came over. Shizune glanced at Sasuke with some fear. She never expected that the harmless young man in front of her could be so terrifying. Sasuke, what to do with him? Tsunade asked with a frown. This guy named Kabuto has a high level of medical ninjutsu and is considered a pretty good talent. But the problem is, after following Orochimaru for so long, he might be very cunning. Don't worry, he can't escape from my grasp. Sasuke smiled slightly. It was not easy to remove the Flying Thunder God spell. Unless it becomes 10 Tails Jinchuriki. Otherwise, Yakushi Kabuto will live in Sasuke's shadow for the rest of his life. Let's go, take us to Orochimaru's stronghold first, and see what's left behind as of value. Sasuke ordered. Yes, Sasuke. Sir. Yakushi Kabuto lowered his head and responded respectfully. Sasuke, do you really want to keep him? Tsunade asked. She was worried that Yakushi Kabuto would betray him. Don't worry, my strength will become stronger and stronger. It's not a bad idea to keep him here and take care of Orochimaru's stronghold for me. Sasuke said easily. After all, Orochimaru has worked hard for so many years to build the Sound Ninja Village and leave strongholds throughout the ninja world. He is also a considerable force. It would be a pity to give up like this. Of course it will be used for nothing. Moreover, with Orochimaru's strength, he can keep his subordinates all over the stronghold. Not to mention Sasuke. As time goes by, he will become thousands of times scarier than Orochimaru. Okay, it's all up to you. Tsunade nodded. Sasuke completely conquered her in the battle just now. Well, your request can't be too excessive. Tsunade's face turned slightly red and he hesitated. Oh, what is an excessive request, for example? Sasuke looked at her with a smirk on his face. You asked questions knowingly. Tsunade turned her head proudly. She was a little worried that Sasuke would mention such embarrassing things. Haha, I'm kidding you. If you don't want to, you can refuse. First, how about returning to Konoha village to be the 5th Hokage? Good. Tsunade did not hesitate and nodded in agreement. In fact, she originally wanted to become a Hokage and protect the village left by her grandfather. However, the tragic deaths of Nawaki and Dan, and the increasingly sharp conflict between Sarutobi Hiruzen, killed her dream. Fortunately, I was awakened by Sasuke now. That's great, Tsunade-sama. Shizune followed the two of them, with a surprised look on his face. Over the years, the two have been drifting, and from time to time they have to avoid gambling debts. The days of fear are hard, and Shizune has long wanted to settle down. Okay, then get ready to return to Konoha. Sasuke agreed. What about those strongholds in Orochimaru? Are they ignored? Sasuke smiled slightly. Isn't there him? Hey, Yakushi Kabuto, come here. Yes, Sasuke. Kabuto appeared in front of Sasuke and knelt down on one knee, looking very respectful. Mark Orochimaru's stronghold on the map, you go there first. After that, I can just rush here through Flying Thunder God. Quote. Yakushi Kabuto nodded, left the map and left quickly. Okay, it's time to go back. Sasuke stepped forward and grabbed Tsunade's white hand. He quickly performed the Flying Thunder God technique and returned to Konoha. Hokage Building, Conference Hall. At this moment, all the elite ninjas in Konoha are gathered together. Tsunade-sama, you are really back. Kakashi looked at Sasuke. This guy always surprises people. He had thought that Tsunade would refuse to be Hokage like Jiraiya. Unexpectedly, Sasuke was not only able to persuade her to come back, but also convinced her to become Hokage. Not only Kakashi, but others also looked at Sasuke in surprise. It is not easy to achieve this level. Uchiha Sasuke's importance in their hearts has rapidly increased. So, according to the results of the previous meeting, since Tsunade-sama is back, she will be the Hokage. Do you have any objections? Nara Shikaku glanced at everyone present and asked. Of course, with Tsunade-sama's prestige, there is no doubt that she is the most suitable. Yamanaka Haichi spoke first. Others also nodded in agreement. Okay, then we will inform the name of the Fire Country. Asterisk 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 asterisk. Kakashi, you mean, Uchiha Itachi came back not long ago? Sasuke looked cold and asked. Well, he and Kurigakure, an S-class rebellious nin named Mikigaki Kisame, appeared in Konoha village, fought with me and Guy, and then escaped. According to Jiraiya-sama's information, both of them are members of the Akatsuki organization, so there is no mistake. Kakashi nodded and said, then the purpose of their coming is Naruto. Sasuke was silent for a moment, then spoke. He didn't expect that Uchiha Itachi was not back. Sasuke thought that after the third generation was killed along with Danzo, he would not come back. After all, if Danzo was still alive, Itachi might still have to worry about the agreement he made back then. His appearance is a reminder and a warning. But now, could it be said that the Akatsuki organization has moved ahead of schedule? Kakashi gave him a surprised look. Well, Master Jiraiya said so he left Konoha with Naruto. Nine Tails must not fall into their hands. Kakashi sighed. He vaguely felt that things were getting more and more troublesome. Hey, Kakashi, where is Tsunade-sama? Quick, take me to find him. Might Guy appeared and shouted eagerly. Sasuke, you did a great job. I want to thank you for Xiao Li. He turned his head and said excitedly. With Xiao Li's injuries, the medical ninjas of Konoha village were almost helpless. Now that Tsunade is back, they finally have hope. The rooftop of the Hokage office. Tsunade welcomes the breeze and overlooks Konoha village. I haven't been back for so many years, and things have changed a lot. However, it is good news that old immortals like Danzo have died together. Tsunade smiled. Konoha village, in addition to the highest status Hokage, also has the position of Hokage consultant. The Hokage consultant is nominally an assistant Hokage, but actually has a lot of authority. If they don't die, Tsunade will be restrained in many things. Now, you can really show your talents. If it weren't for Sasuke, I would still be wandering outside. Tsunade raised his head and stared at the Hokage in the distance. Grandpa, I will protect Konoha. She swore silently in her heart. Tsunade-sama, so you are here. Suddenly, Might Guy and Sasuke came over quickly. Tsunade-sama, please save my apprentice Rock Lee, please. Might Guy bowed 90 degrees and said with great respect. Well, Sasuke already told me that I will go to Konoha Hospital later. Really, thank you. Might Guy hugged Kakashi fiercely, with tears in his eyes. Haha, Kakashi, did you hear that? Hey, Guy, don't rub your snot on me. Kakashi was speechless and pushed him away. Guy looked excited and suddenly hugged Sasuke. Sasuke's mouth twitched and he quickly moved away. Okay, Kakashi, you take him down first. Seeing Sasuke's resistance, Tsunade spoke. Yes, after the two left. How about it? Without Danzo and the others standing in the way, the position of Hokage will be much easier. Sasuke smiled at him. Sasuke, could it be that Danzo was attracted by you? Tsunade reacted immediately. She had doubted it before. Although Orochimaru is strong, Danzo is also not an ordinary person. If he has lived for so long, will he encounter fewer assassinations and fierce battles? In addition, he has been operating in Konoha for so long and has deep roots, so he must have cultivated many masters secretly. It's not that easy to kill him. What's more, after Orochimaru killed the third generation, his hands were disabled and his strength was greatly reduced. There are various signs that there is something else hidden. If Sasuke takes action, it will be easy. With his strength, he can definitely crush and kill him. Tsunade thought to himself. Sure enough, Sasuke nodded slightly. Danzo is one of the masterminds behind Uchiha's death. I can't let him go. Later, Sasuke began to tell the truth about the night of genocide. Tsunade listened silently, his expression gradually astonished. Sasuke, are you saying that it was Danzo and the others who ordered the destruction of the Uchiha clan? Tsunade frowned. This news is really unexpected. However, if the Uchiha clan really wants to stage a coup, it is not surprising that Danzo would do so. He is like the dark side of Konoha, who will do whatever it takes to maintain the stability of Konoha. Well, so killing Danzo and the others is just the beginning. I will find out Uchiha Itachi and the rats hiding behind the scenes. Let them pay with blood. Sasuke's tone was cold. Then what are you going to do? Do you need my help? Tsunade asked. She is now Hokage, in charge of Konoha, one of the 5 great ninja villages. If she gives the order, it will definitely bring great benefits to Sasuke. No need for the moment, I want to take action myself. I will first conquer Orochimaru's forces and let them search for traces of Uchiha Itachi and the Akatsuki organization for me. Sasuke revealed the plan, and at the same time, he said. According to my investigation in Kurigakure, the actual control of the Akatsuki organization is also the Uchiha clan. Furthermore, this guy silently controlled the 4th Mizukage using genjutsu. What? Tsunade looked surprised. Didn't you say that you and your brother are the only ones left in the Uchiha clan? 11. Where did this hidden Uchiha come from? Moreover, it is not easy to be able to control the 4th Mizukage, the Jinchuriki. However, when Tsunade saw Sasuke's confident look, he felt relieved. However, even Orochimaru was easily killed by him. Sasuke's strength is unfathomable. Tsunade still has full confidence in him. Well, you have just taken up the position of 5th Hokage, so you must have a lot to do, so I will leave first. Sasuke hugged Tsunade, then turned and left. Only a shy Tsunade was left, standing on the roof blowing the cold wind. In the afternoon, Tsunade took a look at Shaoli's condition. In fact, Ji's injuries were more serious than Shangzong's. He tells Might Guy to prepare himself mentally. This time, the treatment will either be successful or Rock Lee will be back to his old self soon. But if he fails, Shaoli will be paralyzed and can only stay in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. End of ninja career. After Guy and Shaoli discussed it, they both decided to take a gamble. Tsunade-sama, I'll leave it to you. Might Guy solemnly thanked her. Soon, Rock Lee was pushed into the operating room. A dark underground stronghold. Yakushi Kabuto followed Sasuke carefully. Lord Sasuke, this stronghold is where Orochi conducts curse seal experiments. Experimental curse seal. Sasuke frowned slightly. Yes, not everyone can bear the curse seal. Some people will die in pain after receiving the curse seal. Some people are lucky enough to succeed and cannot control themselves. Yakushi Kabuto explained to him. Sasuke nodded, and the curse seal was very similar to Sage Mode. If you rely on the curse seal to absorb a large amount of natural energy, you may burst yourself. Even if you successfully master the curse seal and use it for a long time, its power will corrode the body. Quite dangerous. Soon, Sasuke saw a large number of cursed experimental subjects imprisoned in iron cages. Ha ha ha, blood, I want blood. Ah, I'm in so much pain, help me. Ha ha, here comes another young guy, I want to eat you. These experimental subjects, under the torture of Orochimaru, became either crazy or insane. Full of hatred for outsiders. Even, occasionally, the curse mark on the experimental subject will not obey the orders and enter the second state. Then bang, explosion. It turned into flesh and blood all over the ground, filling the iron cage with the smell of blood. In short, it is very dangerous here. These guys have become like wild beasts. Sasuke shook his head slightly when he saw this. It may not be easy to control them and work well for yourself. Orochimaru, come out quickly to greet Sasuke-sama. Yakushi Kabuto roared, and a young man with short hair quickly ran out. Kabuto, is this Tianliang? Yu Liangmaru was a little confused. He seemed to have never seen the person in front of him before. Uchiha Sasuke, I will replace Orochimaru from now on. Sasuke spoke calmly. What? Orochimaru was startled and quickly retreated to distance himself. What do you mean, Kabuto, are you going to betray Orochimaru-sama? He questioned. Betray. The corners of Sasuke's mouth raised slightly. HMPH, Orochimaru is dead, I killed him myself. Before he finished speaking, Sasuke's eyes twitched. The next second, Yu Liangwan felt dizzy and his vision was blurry. He immediately fell into a fantasy. In the dark fantasy space, everything is dominated by Sasuke. Orochimaru saw that Orochimaru, who was easily killed by Sasuke, was twisting. It looks extremely stunning. After a long time, he came back to his senses and gasped for air. Now, you should know whether to choose surrender or death. Sasuke stared at him. Oh, Orochimaru was stunned and knelt down on one knee to show his submission. Through the illusion just now, he knew that Orochimaru was finished. Die at the hands of this cold young man in front of you. They, the Stronghold Guardians, were also frightened by Orochimaru's strength. Forced to surrender under force of force. Now, Sasuke appeared with stronger strength, so he naturally chose to surrender immediately. After all, he is used to being a subject. You two, find out all the information and experiences about the curse seal that Orochimaru has collected over the years. Sasuke ordered. He wanted to start reforming the curse seal. At least, don't let these cursed experimental subjects explode themselves to death. 2 days later, in a dark water prison, Guidang Shuiyu's consciousness was awakened. Suddenly, an icy blue-purple lightning blade pierced the water prison. This is. Shuiyu no longer hesitated, immediately used the water transformation technique, and escaped along the breach. Ah, it's out, I'm finally out. Ghost Dang Shuiyu roared excitedly. Then, he saw Sasuke beside him. What? The person who rescued me turned out to be a little devil. Guidang Shuiyu curled his lips and said. However, I still thank you. By the way, what is your name? Uchiha Sasuke, Suigetsu, please follow me from now on. Sasuke said calmly. Stop joking and leave quickly. Orochimaru will find out. Guidang Shuiyu urged. He was afraid of Orochimaru from the bottom of his heart. Don't worry, he is already dead. He died in my hands. Sasuke smiled slightly. Perhaps, due to the existence of the curse seal, Orochimaru still has a chance to be resurrected. But now, he has indeed disappeared from the world. What? Orochimaru was killed by you? Stop joking, Guidang Shuiyu looked unbelieving. But then, Sasuke activated a genjutsu, allowing him to see Orochimaru's death. Guidang Shuiyu suddenly broke into a cold sweat. This young man in front of me is so terrifying. Shuiyu, how are you now? Guidang Shuiyu swallowed. It's not impossible for me to follow you, but you have to help me find the beheading knife. Sasuke smiled. This is simple. He stepped forward, grabbed Guidang Shuiyu, and then used the Flying Thunder God technique. Whoosh! The two disappeared instantly. Kurigakure, Terumi Mei's office building. Sasuke appears with the ghost light Suigetsu. It's so amazing, Yuanren knows the time and space ninjutsu. Guidang Shuiyu praised, then looked around. Where is this? It looks familiar. Suddenly, his eyes widened. This is Kurigakure, it's over, I've thrown myself into a trap. Idiot, take a closer look at who I am. Suddenly, Terumi Mei's voice came from the side. Terumi Mei, it's you. Wait, your outfit. Well, I'm the 5th Mizukage now. What, Mizukage? Shuiyu was stunned when he heard this. It's a long story. Kurigakure has changed a lot in the years since you were gone. 4th Mizukage Yagura is dead. Now Kurigakure has completely abolished the blood mist policy. Terumi Mei said slowly. I see, no wonder you became Mizukage. Shuiyu suddenly thought of his brother, Guidang Manyu, known as the child prodigy. Brother, your dream has finally become a reality. He murmured to himself. Terumi Mei, thank you. Guidang Shuiyu looked at her and said seriously. You don't need to thank me, the person next to you is the one who is leading all of this. If it weren't for him, Mist Shinobi would probably still be the same as before. Upon hearing this, Suigetsu turned to look at Sasuke. Sasuke, it's not surprising that he can defeat Orochimaru. Seeing the close relationship between Sasuke and Terumi Mei, Ji also made some guesses. Suigetsu, what do you think? Do you want to become one of the new Kurigakure's ninja swords? Terumi Mei said with a smile. As she spoke, she took out a scroll and shook the chakra. The beheading sword appeared in front of him. Hey, this knife is indeed here. Gui Dang Shui Yu's eyes lit up and he nodded quickly. Okay, anyway, I'm not Aiyan's rebellious ninja anymore. Sasuke and Terumi Mei looked at each other and smiled. Take it, she threw the beheading knife over, and Shuiyu followed it with a happy face. Well, let's go, take you around Kurigakure, and announce the news that you are the new ninja sword. Terumi Mei took Yushui and the two out of the building. A few days later, Orochimaru's southern stronghold. Under the guidance of Yakushi Kabuto, Sasuke, dressed in white, stepped into the stronghold. In the southern stronghold, Zongwu is being held according to intelligence, and Xiangling should be here too. Sasuke and the two had just entered. Suddenly, a sharp shout came. Xiangling, with her iconic red hair, fair skin and glasses, jumped out. She was about to get angry, but when she saw Sasuke. Wow, he's so handsome. Where did this handsome guy come from? Is he Orochimaru's new subordinate? What a pity. Xiangling's eyes widened, she looked at Sasuke with an ambiguous expression, and swallowed softly. I must win this extremely handsome guy, she thought to herself, but pretended to be serious on the surface and coughed a few words softly. Kabuto, this is a forbidden area, and you are not allowed to enter without Orochimaru-sama's order. Xiangling pushed up her glasses and said. Sasuke opened his eyes and Sharingan appeared. A cold and chilling aura spread from his body. Xiangling, it seems you don't know yet, Orochimaru is already a thing of the past. Xiangling looked at him blankly. So beautiful, such beautiful eyes, and this cold look makes him even more handsome. A blush appeared on Xiangling's face, and her heart was beating fast. Hey, Xiangling, Sasuke looked at him looking fascinated and shouted. Well, what did you just say, because of the snake? Xiangling wiped her saliva and frowned. Oh, this guy. Sasuke sighed, his blank look made him speechless. However, after all, love is the highest level of perception. And as a descendant of the Uzumaki clan, he has a huge chakra and self-healing body, which is very useful. Must be taken under his wing. He activated a genjutsu with his eyes, allowing Xiangling to see Orochimaru's death. Hey, isn't it? The big snake is dead. That's great. Xiangling's face showed a look of surprise. She really didn't have a good impression of the sinister and cold Orochimaru. But when Xiangling was a child, her special physique was coveted by many ninjas. Orochimaru is just one of them, but his strength is the strongest. That's why she can be conquered. Now Orochimaru is dead, which means she is free. Sasuke, you are really awesome. Xiangling exclaimed and hugged Sasuke directly. Yakushi Kabuto saw this and left very wisely. Sasuke smiled slightly and hugged Xiangling with his backhand, otherwise, how about you follow me? When Xiangling heard this, she was suddenly surprised and happy. Okay, Sasuke, since you were the one who rescued me from Tentoki. From now on, you will be my master. Xiangling said with a smile and hugged Sasuke tightly. She was just trying to find an excuse to stay with Sasuke, but now it was just right. Hey, please be gentle, I can't breathe. Sasuke spoke. This little girl is too excited. Ah, I'm so sorry. Xiangling hurriedly let go and stuck out the tongue man playfully. By the way, the main prisoner in this southern stronghold is Chongo. Sasuke asked suddenly. Well, Sasuke, this guy is very dangerous and will go berserk from time to time. Be careful. Xiangling reminded in a low voice. Well, take me to see him. Sasuke ordered. Xiangling nodded slightly, took the key, and took Sasuke to the deepest cell. Along the way, the two passed by prisons. You can often hear the iron door being slammed and making banging noises. Xiangling, who are the people imprisoned here? Sasuke frowned slightly. They are basically powerful criminals who don't obey Orochimaru's orders. Moreover, many people have been severely corroded by the curse seal, and ordinary prisons cannot hold them at all. But don't worry about them. They will calm down on their own when you get tired. During the conversation between the two, soon, I walked to a heavy iron door. The iron door was tied up with huge chains, and there was a hole for the emperor's key on it. At first glance, it looks very strict. Well, Jugo is locked up here. Xiangling raised her chin and signaled. Well, open the cells. But, this guy is very. Xiangling hesitated a little and opened it like this. Once Zhongwu broke free from the iron chain under the rage, they would both be targeted immediately. Open the cell door, Sasuke ordered coldly, leaving no room for doubt. I see. Xiangling chose to believe him and opened the iron door without hesitation. Haha, another prey has arrived at my door. Congratulations, you guys. Zhongwu let out a sharp roar and rushed towards the door. The chains on his body quickly broke under its terrifying power. Suffer death. Chongwu's hand suddenly underwent drastic changes. Flesh thorns grew out one after another, and his sharp nails were like steel knives, flashing with cold light, ferocious and terrifying. Boom! His transformed elbow area suddenly spurted out a large amount of chakra airflow. At the same time, his speed surged and he stabbed Sasuke violently. Danger, Sasuke, get out of the way. Xiangling shouted fiercely. She has seen it more than once. After Chongwu casts the curse seal, the destructive power will be extremely terrifying. However, facing Jugo's terrifying blow, Sasuke just slowly raised his hand. Boom! Sasuke slapped his hand gently, and directly pressed Jugo with his white palm. Hey, I said, don't be so excited, came Sasuke's cold voice. Impossible, no one has been able to block my attack so easily since Kimimaro. Zhongwu's eyes widened, and the curse marks on his body spread quickly like flames, covering his whole body. Ha ha ha, next, it's a full blow. Jugo put his hands together, and a terrifying chakra suddenly erupted from his body, and Sasuke hit him hard. This terrible blow will shatter even the hills. Boom! Sasuke still stood there, the terrifying muscles on his arms appeared, blocking his attack. I said, have you had enough trouble? Sasuke stepped forward and punched Jugo in the chest. Boom! His whole body was like a baseball being blown away, hitting the hard iron wall of the cell. A smile appeared on Sasuke's lips. After he opened the Shinwei Dao Palace, he easily suppressed Zhongwu with just his physical strength. It's impossible, I'm going to kill you. Jugo roared wildly, his hands turned into sharp blades, and he slashed at Sasuke's head. The next second, Zhongwu's eyes widened in disbelief. Sharp white bones were seen protruding from Sasuke's chest, blocking his claws. This is dead bone pulse. How come you have Kimimaro's tricks? Jugo backed away in horror. Then, he slammed the cell door shut and locked himself. Jugo huddled in the corner. Not long ago, he could sense that Kimimaro was dead through the curse seal. But now, with the power of Sasuke's dead bone pulse, it's like Kimimaro was reborn. Xiangling, step back. Sasuke said coldly. Yes. Xiangling looked at Sasuke in surprise. She was also puzzled as to how Sasuke possessed Kimimaro's bloodline. A sharp bone blade emerged from Sasuke's palm. He swung forward suddenly and cut the hard iron door into dozens of pieces. Jugo, you don't have to stay here anymore, Orochimaru is dead, come with me. Sasuke stepped forward and said. No, I have an agreement with Kimimaro. Only he can let me leave. Zhongwu said with a look of horror on his head. Oh, this guy is really difficult to deal with. Sasuke sighed. Solid water was easy to handle. But Jugo is so stupid. Although Sasuke could use his strength to take him away by force, this would be meaningless. Boom! Suddenly, the cell door behind was slammed open. A monster with brown skin all over its body, sharp horns on its head, and a fierce face rushed out. Boom! Immediately afterwards, there was another violent explosion. In the stronghold, many monsters in State 2 tore through the iron gates and rushed out. What's going on? Sasuke turned his head and frowned slightly. It stands to reason that this prison specially designed for them cannot be broken open so easily. Well, it must have resonated with their curse seals after Zongo lost control and ran away just now. Xiangling whispered. The curse seal created by Orochimaru not only strengthens the power. It has a vague connection with Orochimaru and Jugo himself. Hey, damn Yinya, HMPH, you usually dare to whip us, but this time you are dead. Yes, she should taste delicious. These monsters corroded by the curse seal have an evil light in their eyes. Staring at Xiangling, come together and kill them. Several monsters roared, and others swarmed up and killed Sasuke and the two. It's really ugly to lose yourself by being corroded by the curse seal. Sasuke shook his head slightly. Golden lines gradually emerged from his body. Set against the dazzling golden light, Sasuke is as noble as a god. This is. Jugo suddenly raised his head and looked at Sasuke's back. He could feel that the noble power in Sasuke was the end of his curse seal evolution. His originally frightened eyes gradually turned into fanaticism. Behind Sasuke, Xiangling also covered her mouth. So strong, so scary, so handsome, Sasuke is so fascinating. Xiangling's eyes were blurry. With her powerful perception, she could sense how scary Sasuke was now. Boom! A large amount of golden thunder flashed across Sasuke's body. Sage Art, Tamaya Ryu. Countless golden thunders roared and rushed forward. Those monsters corroded by the curse seal instantly turned into ashes as soon as they were touched. In an instant, all the cursed monsters were killed instantly. Humph, I don't know whether to live or die. Zuo Zhu Lang 5, slowly Mountain Dao pattern. He will show no mercy to these ugly monsters. Kings, ha! Suddenly, Sasuke sensed something and turned his head. He could see at a glance that Chongwu's face was full of respect and enthusiasm. Then, he knelt down on one knee and lowered his head to show his surrender to Sasuke. Sasuke, I will always follow you from now on. Jugo whispered that he also longed to evolve and have a perfect form like Sasuke. What happened? Why did it suddenly? Could it be the Dao pattern just now? Sasuke had a vague guess. Forget it, it's not important, the goal has been achieved anyway. Let's go. Sasuke takes Xiangling and Jugo with him. The three of them slowly walked out of the stronghold. Sasuke turned to glance at the huge building. He was silent for a moment, then formed a seal with his hands and immediately used earth-style ninjutsu. Boom! The ground cracked. A terrible ravine gradually swallowed up the entire stronghold. Together with the corpses of those cursed monsters, and all the sins, they disappeared. Afterwards, Sasuke grabbed the two and performed the Flying Thunder God technique, quickly returning to Kurigakure. Mizukage Building. Ghost Lantern Shueyu is dancing with a beheading sword. Suddenly, Sasuke and three others appeared, and his sword almost hit Xiangling's head. Fortunately, Sasuke took action in time to block the attack. Hey, you bastard as Guidang Shueyu. You want to kill me. The thrilling scene just now made Xiangling completely furious. She punched Shueyu hard in the face. Wow, Suigetsu's head liquefied like water. After being broken up, it reunited and remained intact. Damn it, no, Shueyu, are you a human or a ghost? Xiangling was startled and immediately hid behind Sasuke. HMPH, this is a secret ninjutsu passed down from generation to generation by our Ghost Lantern clan. Shueyu smiled. Hydration technique, after being used, can liquefy the whole body or part of the body, making it immune to physical attacks. Xiangling wanted to beat him, but it wasn't that easy. Shueyu looked suspicious. No, you should have heard of Xiangling. Suddenly, he clapped his hands and showed an expression of sudden realization. I understand, you are deliberately pretending to be scared so that you can get close to Sasuke. You are really cunning. You, bastard Shueyu, what are you talking about? When Xiangling heard this, seeing that her thoughts had been seen through, she couldn't help but blush and said hurriedly. Suddenly, the hall door opened and Terumi-Mei walked in. Ha, Sasuke, are these your newly recruited followers? Terumi-Mei looked at the two of them carefully, and suddenly, she walked up to the circle. Little girl, what do you want to do if you are so close? Terumi-Mei said with a smile. Xiangling quickly let go of Sasuke and took a few steps back. She stared at Terumi-Mei, her eyes couldn't help but be attracted by the tall breasts. So big, Xiangling silently compared it, and suddenly looked frustrated. Moreover, Terumi-Mei's mature charm also makes her feel a little inferior. Terumi-Mei took a step forward and stood beside Sasuke as if she was declaring sovereignty. Xiangling gritted her teeth silently. It seems that if you want to win Sasuke's favor, you have to work hard. Sister Mei, the rest of them will settle in Kurigakure first. Sasuke said that after Kurigakure experienced the blood fog policy, its masters suffered serious losses. The strength and ability of the three of them are not weak, just can make up for the shortcomings of the masters of Zunion village. Moreover, Terumi Mei also has a simplified version of the immortal body Dao pattern, which is enough to easily suppress Jugo. Terumi Mei nodded slightly. By the way, Sasuke, the genjutsu you asked me to collect are all here. She pulled out a scroll and handed it to Sasuke. Oh, thank you for your hard work. Sasuke's eyes lit up and he took the scroll. He said hello to several people and left quickly. Nanga Shrine. Sasuke opened the illusion scrolls one by one and began to examine them. Most of these illusions are not powerful, they are just commonplace. But Sasuke doesn't want to learn these illusions, but uses them as a template to create his own killer moves. You have studied a lot of illusions in depth and understood the principles of illusions. You have deeply understood and analyzed the illusion, and began to summarize it. Close black lens bracket. You based on a large number of illusion templates, learned from each other's strengths and absorbed the advantages, and then had an epiphany. Close black lens bracket. You created an S-level illusion, Uehua Realm. Illusion Uehua World, an illusory world created by using huge mental power and combining the characteristics of Sharingan illusion. The range covered by mental power is the scope of influence of illusion. The world of illusion is extremely real, and everything is controlled by the caster. The enemy can fall into it unknowingly and be constantly attacked mentally. Sasuke slowly opened his eyes. He finally figured out a killer illusion move. First of all, this illusion can be activated without looking at each other. Moreover, he relies on his own mental power to drag the enemy into the world of illusion. In other words, this illusion is not only simple to achieve, but also has a large range of damage. It's hard to guard against. At least, much stronger than Tsukuyomi. Sasuke thought to himself. First of all, Tsukuyomi needs to look at each other to activate, and the illusion space is simple. The person who is hit by the trick knows very well that he is in an illusion. But his Uehua realm does not have these shortcomings. HMPH, Obito, this beast, wouldn't he have been blessed if he had met me earlier? Sasuke smiled slightly. This trick of his own can help him realize his dream, so there is no need to make so many troubles. Well, next it's time to modify the curse seal. Sasuke quickly opened Orochimaru's research notes on curse seals. Study silently, while constantly summarizing and improving with heaven-defying understanding. You have deeply analyzed the curse seal and analyzed the fundamental principle of the curse seal. You improved the shortcomings of the curse seal and added your own ideas. Close black lens bracket. Soon, a new seal was created by him. Compared with the original curse seal, the new curse seal is integrated into his chakra technique. Those who have been branded by him can no longer escape Sasuke's pursuit. You will live in his shadow your whole life. At the same time, a new curse seal was added to Sasuke's mental area. As time goes by, Sasuke's mental power becomes stronger. In the new curse seal, his brand will become stronger and stronger, affecting the parasites subtly. Even, mentally tamed by Sasuke. Moreover, Sasuke used the principle of the immortal body Dao mark to improve the shortcoming that the curse mark would corrode the human body and cause harm. Can be used for a longer period of time. Don't worry about losing control and running wild at every turn. More importantly, the new curse seal can echo Sasuke's immortal body pattern. As long as he has a thought, he can absorb the power area of the cursed person through the Dao pattern. Make the other person's life worse than death. It can be said that people who are cursed by Sasuke will find it harder to betray them the further they go. Well, let's try it with Orochimaru's original subordinates first. Although, most of Orochimaru's former strongholds have chosen to surrender. But among them, many people must still admire Orochimaru more in their hearts. But forced by Sasuke's powerful strength, he could only bow his head and surrender. Now, there is no need to worry. Kabuto, you've been doing well these days. In an underground stronghold, Sasuke appeared and suddenly said behind him. Yakushi Kabuto's hand trembled when he heard this, and he almost broke the potion in his hand. Here we go again. After being planted with the Flying Thunder God mark by Sasuke. From time to time, he would quietly flash behind him. This makes Yakushi Kabuto live in fear every day, not daring to make the slightest mistake. Prolonged mental stress. It's simply torture. Lord Sasuke, this is what I should do. Ache. Yakushi Kabuto forced a smile and said, HMPH, as a reward, I'll give you 3 points of my history. Sasuke smiled playfully. No. It's not necessary, Sasuke-sama. Yakushi Kabuto's face froze, joking, he has been following Orochimaru for so long. How could he not know what the curse seal was? Once you are left with a curse mark, it is equivalent to being shackled. He didn't want to be controlled by Sasuke for the rest of his life. You have no right to refuse. Sasuke smiled slightly, and black runes appeared on his palm. He dodged, appeared in front of Yakushi Kabuto, and slapped his chest with a fierce palm. There is no way to fight back. Yakushi Kabuto was immediately cursed by Sasuke. Yakushi Kabuto was shaking all over and his face was pale. Don't worry, my curse seal is different from Orochimaru. It won't make you feel painful after midsummer. On the contrary, after casting the curse seal, your strength will be greatly improved. There are so many benefits, you should be happy, evil. Sasuke touched his chin, by the way, there are others. Well, this kind of good thing must be equally affected by rain and dew, don't you think so? Then, Sasuke left with a smile and left instantly. Damn it, Yakushi Kabuto's body softened and he fell to the ground. Originally, he had thought of many plans to escape from Sasuke's control. But now, he seemed to see a hopeless future. Soon, all the strongholds in Orochimaru were captured by Sasuke one by one. The people in charge of those strongholds were all controlled by the curse mark left by Sasuke. This time, it's not just superficial control. By the way, there is also Sound Ninja Village. This is the village founded by Orochimaru, and it happens to be another base for me. Sasuke thought to himself. Now, he already has the intelligence network of Konoha Village and Kurigakure. At the same time, he also completely mastered Orochimaru's power. What's more, his strength is enough. Now, it's time to start the next plan. Search for Uchiha Itachi and Obito and get your revenge. During this period, we also inquire about the tailed beasts and Jinchuriki. This guy Obito is still the manipulator behind the Akatsuki organization. The Akatsuki organization is not weak in combat power, and their main mission overlaps with Sasuke, which is to collect the power of the tailed beasts. At the same time, Uchiha Itachi is a member of the Akatsuki organization. In addition, the wing boss is Uchiha Obito. There is no doubt that Sasuke will definitely confront them, and even fight to the death. Now, I have just collected the power of 1 tail and 3 tails, so I have to speed up my pace. Sasuke's purpose in collecting tailed beasts is simple. Integrate the power of tailed beasts and activate Tianwei mode. In addition, all kinds of powerful ninjutsu, taijutsu, and illusions created by my own heaven-defying understanding. His goal is to become the strongest in the history of the ninja world. However, the final goal is still far away. Even if it is the first step, members of the Akatsuki organization have always been mysterious, and it is not easy to find their traces. Relatively speaking, finding tailed beasts may be easier. Sasuke thought silently in his mind. In the following period, Sasuke rarely entered a period of leisure. After all, finding someone takes time. Sasuke also took the opportunity to relax. He gets to know Tsurumime every day and strengthens his relationship. At the same time, Sasuke will also provide various information to Tsunade intentionally or unintentionally. Assist her in assuming the position of Hokage. Ever since the battle with Orochimaru, Tsunade's relationship with him has become even closer. Even more, Sasuke wants to study Hashirama cells and her Baihao technique. Tsunade also gave her unreserved support. The relationship between the two is just one step away from breaking through. Of course, to revitalize the Uchiha clan, Tsunade and Tsurumime alone are not enough. Sasuke naturally has other female ninjas as targets as well. For example, Yuhihong. With Sasuke's comfort, she gradually got over her sadness. As the two get along, Yuhihong is gradually captured. Unexpectedly, Sasuke's illusion skills are getting more and more powerful. Yuhi Kurenai often sighs. Originally, she wanted to give her genjutsu to Sasuke. So he was given individual guidance. But as time passed, now it was Sasuke who taught her genjutsu. Sasuke gradually reveals his talent. Yuhihong also went from being shocked at the beginning to slowly accepting it. A newly opened luxury restaurant. Yuhi Hong, Hinata, Ino and Sakura, Anko, Yugao and Tenten and other female ninjas gathered together. They were all invited by Sasuke. Sasuke sat in the main seat and said with a smile, "Everyone, my new restaurant is open, you can try how it tastes." Expectation showed in the eyes of all the female ninjas. Yes, this luxury restaurant is owned by Sasuke. After all, he has god-level cooking skills and can easily combine all the foods from the two worlds. Create a variety of dishes with novel flavors. It would be such a waste not to show it. Being engaged in this kind of catering industry is simply a dimensionality reduction blow. Of course, Sasuke's time is precious, except for inviting these kunoichi today. At other times, he does not cook by himself. After completely controlling Orochimaru's power, Sasuke's wealth is increasing day by day. It can be said that he is already the richest man in Konoha. However, in order to revitalize the Uchiha clan, the more wealth, the better. In this way, we can attract more high-quality female ninjas from all over the ninja world to join us. So, Sasuke began to engage in business investment. The first step is to monopolize the food industry in Konoha and even the entire ninja world. Food is the most important thing for the people. The first Uchiha restaurant chain. Not only can it help him become famous, but it can also continuously earn huge amounts of wealth. Well, Sasuke, this wine tastes really good. Yuhi Hong picked up the wine glass and took a sip. A look of surprise suddenly appeared on her face. Sasuke smiled slightly. The wine he brewed naturally tasted good, and it was this success that attracted Tsunade. "Sasuke, you are so awesome, even the dishes you make are so delicious." Ino, Hinata and the others praised each other while eating. "That's right, it would be nice if I could eat it more often in the future." Anko took a bite of the meatballs and showed a happy expression on his face. However, a restaurant with such a good taste should not be cheap. Uwazuki Shion looked at Sasuke and said, "Now, Sasuke is becoming more and more famous in Konoha village." Under Tsunade's unintentional propaganda, Sasuke fought during the Orochimaru invasion. His achievements in defeating One-Tail Shukaku and protecting Konoha have been widely spread. Many people even began to regard Sasuke as the hero who saved Konoha. This is also true. If Sasuke hadn't defeated Shukaku, let Gaara transform in Konoha village. With the destructive power of the tailed beasts, Konoha will definitely be severely damaged even if it is not destroyed. At the same time, after Sasuke's strength and strategy were gradually revealed, he was also recognized by the elite ninjas in the Sleeping Leaf, including the heads of the ninja clans. The reputation as the strongest genius in Konoha village is well deserved. Sasuke's status is also growing day by day. Therefore, Shiyan and others were flattered to receive Sasuke's invitation. "Don't worry, if you come to spend the money, I will give you the best discount. It will definitely be cheaper than other pubs." Sasuke looked at everyone and said, "Really, that's great, Sasuke." Yamanaka Ino exclaimed, hugged him directly, and then kissed him directly. "Ino, you guy." Little Sakura couldn't help but clenched her fists. It was so arrogant to take advantage of Sasuke so blatantly. When the other girls saw this, their faces turned slightly red. Ino, for a girl, is so bold. Yuhi Kurenai gave Sasuke a resentful look. This guy is handsome, strong, and rich. It can be said that he is good at everything. It's just too fussy. This made Yuhi Hong feel a little jealous. "Hey, everyone, it turns out you are all here." Suddenly, the hall door opened and Tsunade walked in. "Lord Hokage." When the girls saw this, they immediately stood up and said hello to her. "Haha, you don't have to worry about it." Tsunade waved his hand and sat down next to Sasuke unceremoniously. "Why did you come here just now?" Sasuke poured her a glass of wine and said, "Do you think Hokage is so easy to play? Hey, there are too many things to deal with." Tsunade stretched, then she leaned into Sasuke's ear and whispered, "You boy, you are so beautiful." As she spoke, she quietly pinched Sasuke's thigh. Sasuke secretly breathed a sigh of relief when he saw her like this. He thought Tsunade would be jealous. "Sasuke, I'm Hokage, why would I care about such a trivial matter?" Tsunade seemed to see Sasuke's thoughts and continued to speak in his ear. "Don't think I can't see it. You want to revive the Uchiha clan. Then you should work harder, marry more wives, and let them help you. But you have a pretty good eye. Tsunade glanced at the women present and smiled. Sasuke was a little surprised. Tsunade was very smart. And, as expected of Tsunade, he has a great heart. Come on, keep drinking, this is a rare and good wine. Tsunade raised his glass. The girls didn't dare to neglect when they saw this, so they could only drink together. Late at night, all the girls were very drunk. Although Sasuke was physically strong, he was a little tipsy after being poured wine one after another. At this time, Shizune walked in holding Dodo. Tsunade-sama, why are you still drinking? We should go back. Shizune stepped forward and shook Tsunade gently. No, I won't leave, I haven't had enough to drink yet. Tsunade said drunkenly, if you want to leave, you should take them away first. Tsunade pointed at Ino and the others lying on the table. Oh, I really can't help it, Sasuke, then Tsunade-sama, I'll leave it to you. Shizune turned his head and said to Sasuke. Oh, I see. Sasuke nodded slightly, there were many rooms in this luxurious restaurant anyway. Soon, Shizune left with several others. Hong, you still want to drink? Tsunade looked at Yuhi Kurenai who was still pouring wine and said. Hong smelled of alcohol and had a hint of yuansheng on her face. Tsunade-sama, I just want to drink. When Tsunade saw this, he immediately understood. Oh, Hong, Asuma has, you'd better be more open-minded. She sighed, don't be like me and immerse yourself in it for decades. Tsunade-sama, Yuhi Hong's eyes were filled with tears and she hugged Tsunade. Tsunade patted her gently to comfort her. After a long time, Tsunade heard the sound of even breathing coming from his arms. She looked down and found that Xiang Hong had fallen asleep. Come on, Sasuke, let's keep drinking. Tsunade held up the wine glass and said drunkenly. That's enough, Tsunade, you've drank enough, forget it for today. Hearing this, Tsunade had a provocative smile on his face. Why, you don't dare to compete with me in drinking. In terms of fighting, I may not be able to beat you, but in drinking, I am definitely better than you. Come, just come, are you afraid? Seeing this, Sasuke felt competitive in his heart. He has practiced top body training techniques and has opened 2 Taoist palaces. With his physical strength, there's no way he can't beat Tsunade when drinking. So, the two of them continued to drink. Until Tsunade drank until his face turned red and his eyes were hazy. Sasuke was also a little drunk before he gave up. Hiccup, it's amazing, even after drinking, it's so strong, as expected of you, Sasuke, I give up. By the way, you want to rebuild the Uchiha family. Sasuke nodded slightly. After killing the 2 traitors of the Uchiha clan, I will be the only remaining Uchiha blood. We must rebuild the family. Hey, at that time, how about I become the wife of the Uchiha clan leader? Tsunade said drunkenly. Suddenly, she woke up Yuri Hong next to her. Hong, when the time comes, you will be the second wife. Hong listened confusedly, but her brain no longer obeyed, and she could only nod mechanically. Sasuke held his forehead. This guy Tsunade is a bit outrageous when he's drunk. As a last resort, he could only take the 2 of them into a large room upstairs. Put the 2 of them on the bed. Just as Sasuke was about to leave, Tsunade grabbed his hand. Don't forget what I told you just now. Tsunade pulled hard and Sasuke fell into his arms. Do not care. Sasuke's heart skipped a beat. Early the next morning, Tsunade woke up from her sleep. Ah, Sasuke, you. She yelled and looked at Sasuke in disbelief. Sasuke woke up slowly at this time. Please, you can't blame me. Who said that she wants to be the patriarch's wife? Sasuke smiled playfully. Tsunade thought about it for a moment, and suddenly his face turned red with embarrassment. How ridiculous. I am a Hokage, even though I am drunk, but... Tsunade suddenly turned his head and noticed Kurenai beside him. It's over, you've caused trouble. Tsunade held his forehead. Even if he lost his virginity in a daze, he ended up dragging Hong into it. Sasuke put his hand to his mouth, signaling Tsunade to silence. The 2 of them turned around and saw that their red eyelids were twitching slightly, obviously they had woken up. So, they lightly chased him out of the room. After hearing no movement in the room for a long time, Yuhi Hong opened her eyes and sat up. Well, she sighed, but thinking about the madness last night, she couldn't help but blush. Tsunade-sama, this is so ridiculous. But now that it was over, Hong breathed a sigh of relief. Now, it's time to welcome a new life. Sasuke, it's all your fault for drinking so much with me. Tsunade glared at him and said angrily. Hee. Sasuke was speechless, it was obviously you. What did you say? Tsunade said with a straight face. Yes, it's all my fault, okay. Sasuke knew very well that at times like this, he shouldn't reason with women. What to do now? Hong sighed. Sasuke frowned. A smile appeared on Tsunade's lips. You don't understand this. Since Hong woke up and didn't make a fuss, it means she acquiesced. So that's it. Sasuke was slightly startled. Now it's up to you. Do you want to take responsibility for Hong and marry her? How do you want to deal with it? Of course, Yuhi Hong is beautiful and gentle, but also strong. She is definitely a rare and good woman. Sasuke smiled. Boom, you brat, you've made a lot of money. Tsunade flicked Sasuke's forehead, hating Dao-san. A few days later, outside the door of Hokage's office, Tsunade stared at the door with an unhappy expression. Hey, hasn't the kid come out yet? Tsunade asked Izumo and Zidetsu on the side. Yes, Master Tsunade, he still refuses to leave. They paused slightly and spoke. Tsunade-sama, how about we drive him out by force? Although he is the grandson of the third Hokage, it cannot affect your work. Tsunade stepped forward and knocked hard on the door. Konohamaru, you stinky brat, don't come out yet, be careful I get serious. Humph, this is my grandpa's office, don't even think about coming in. Konohamaru shouted angrily. Ha, Tsunade, there's a little trouble. Just then, Sasuke walked over. Oh, it's this brat named Konohamaru. Tsunade is a little troubled. After all, the third Hokage died not long ago. Konohamaru is in a sad moment when he sees Tsunade trying to occupy his grandfather's office. He started to lose his temper. But she always felt a little wrong about forcing his grandson out like this. Simple, leave this kid's matter to me. Sasuke smiled slightly. Immediately, the tyrannical mental power spread out. He began to use 130 to cast the illusion Uehua realm. Almost instantly, Konohamaru fell into a genjutsu. The originally bright Hokage office suddenly became extremely dark. The sinister wind gusts, very strange. What's wrong? Konohamaru looked nervous and confused. He turned to look around, and suddenly, a terrifying evil ghost emerged from the shadows. It opened its terrifying mouth, revealing its white fangs. Oh my god, there's a ghost. Konohamaru was immediately frightened. He opened the door suddenly and ran out without looking back. As he ran, he was even scared to tears. Several people looked at Konohamaru's fleeing back, and Sasuke clapped his hands. Here, it's done. Tsunade's eyes lit up. Could it be that he was phantom weary? Sasuke nodded slightly. If he wants, he can completely trap Konohamaru's spirit in the genjutsu. However, although this guy is not lovable, Sasuke will not really care about him. A small punishment will suffice. Sasuke is really powerful. Can he also inflict illusions on enemies through walls? Tsunade looked curious. She didn't even notice that Sasuke had cast an illusion just now. At the same time, you don't need to have any contact with the enemy to get the opponent hit. This kind of illusion is really unbelievable. Soon, the two walked into the office. Tsunade slammed the door, and then kissed Sasuke on the cheek. This is your reward for solving my trouble. Tsunade smiled and whispered. Sasuke touched his face and said, you are very brave. Are you afraid that Izumo and the others will open the door and see you? HMPH, mine is Hokage, what are you afraid of? Who in Konoha village dares not to listen to me now? Tsunade said with a proud look on his face. Konoha village is gone, Danzo's antiques are gone, and the power of the Hokage is back. Now Tsunade has absolute authority in Konoha village. She snorted softly and said, by the way, why did you come to see me? Actually, it's about summoningmon. I want to find a powerful summoningmon, preferably one with the ability to fly. I'm here to ask if you have any news. Sasuke spoke. After all, Tsunade has been wandering outside for so long, so he should know a lot of fragmentary information. Flying Summoning Mon. Tsunade pondered for a moment. Well, I think I've heard of this before in the Land of Thunder. The Kingdom of Thunder. Let's talk about it. Sasuke's curiosity was piqued. In the far east of the Land of Thunder, not far from Cloud Shinobi Village, there is a place called Wind and Thunder Canyon. I once heard that there is a condor living in the canyon. It can spit out thunder and lightning and is very powerful. In addition, it flies extremely fast. So far, no ninja has been able to defeat it. Tsunade said slowly while recalling. Oh, Thunder Condor. Sasuke's eyes lit up. Wasn't this just the summoning beast he needed? Tsunade frowned slightly. Sasuke, why don't you choose another summoning beast? This condor is very difficult to deal with. And it's so hard to overcome it. Sasuke shook his head slightly. Just kidding, for him, the stronger the summoning mon, the better. After all, at the rate of his progress, those ordinary giant summoning beasts would soon be unable to keep up with him. Then Sasuke, you have to be careful. Cloud Shinobi Village in the Land of Thunder is very warlike, and Raikage has always been very strong. Tsunade reminded, don't conflict with them if it's not necessary. Don't worry, I know. Sasuke nodded slightly. Raikages of all generations have always had bad tempers. And in Union Village, many are militants. Just a few years ago, the Kingdom of Thunder sent intermediaries to Konoha in an attempt to get rid of the Byakugan. Fortunately, it didn't work out in the end. However, we can also see the importance of Cloud Shinobi Village. Obviously, they are not afraid of Konoha at all, and even played a role in fueling the ninja war. By the way, do you have a map of the Kingdom of Thunder? Sasuke asked suddenly. Well, I asked Izumo and the others to look for it. There should be one in Sleepy Leaf Village. Tsunade opened the door and called to the two of them. Shortly after, the country of Tien, the village of Wei Nin. Sasuke used Flying Thunder God and teleported here. Well, starting from the Sound Ninja Village can save a lot of distance. Kabuto, come here and see me. With a thought in his mind, Sasuke used his mental power to communicate with the curse seal and gave instructions to Yakushi Kabuto. This is also one of the functions of the new curse seal he developed. Under the coverage of Sasuke's mental power, communication can be achieved through curse seals. Soon, Kabuto rushed over. Kabuto, how did the thing I asked you to do go? Sasuke paused slightly before speaking. Lord Sasuke, I have invited the daimyo of Ta no Kuni to come to the Sound Ninja Village. They're in the reception hall now. Yakushi Kabuto whispered. Oh, it's already here. Then you take me to see him. Sasuke spoke, so Yakushi Kabuto took him to meet the daimyo of Tianakuni. The moment the two met, Sasuke began to perform illusions. Soon, the name of Tien Ziguo was controlled by him. From now on, I will have the final say over the entire Tien kingdom. Sasuke smiled. A few days later, Sasuke walked into a towering mountain range. The place is filled with clouds and mist, and thunder often echoes. This is the Land of Thunder. A country where thunder rages. A ninja wearing a Cloud Shinobi Village forehead protector and dull eyes walked in front. Sasuke slowly followed behind him. Sir, not far ahead is the Wind and Thunder Canyon. He pointed to a valley filled with clouds and mist in front of him, Yu said. Ah, very good. Sasuke nodded slightly, left in a flash, and quickly rushed into the Wind and Thunder Canyon. Suddenly, the ninjas of Cloud Shinobi Village woke up. Strange, how did I get here? He stared at the Fengele Canyon in front of him with a surprised look on his face, not knowing why. He couldn't help but shudder when he thought of the terrifying condor that was said to live in the canyon. So, he quickly returned along the original road. Rumble. In the Wind and Thunder Canyon, lightning is constantly striking. Sasuke showed no fear, maintained high speed, and kept jumping forward. Occasionally, a bolt of lightning strikes to the rescue. However, the laden chakra coat on Sasuke easily diffused the attack and could even absorb it. HMPH, with my accomplishments in lightning style, this little lightning can't threaten me. The corners of Sasuke's mouth raised slightly. In this way, he is more confident about subduing the Thunder Eagle. Soon, Sasuke went deep into the Wind and Thunder Canyon. I've been going forward for so long, but I haven't found anything yet. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. Huge spiritual power spread out. In an instant, the surrounding clouds, fog, and obstacles of mountains and rocks were useless in Sasuke's eyes. It's not here. Is it because the range of my perception is too small? Sasuke frowned slightly. While maintaining his spiritual realm, he could advance deeper into the canyon at high speed. Until Sasuke searched the entire canyon and came to a towering rock wall. He also found no trace of the Thunder Condor. That's strange. Could it be that the news is wrong? No, in addition to Tsunade, the native ninjas of the Kingdom of Thunder also said the same thing. Sasuke, touch it. It has been circulating for so long, there must be something in the Fengele Canyon. Could it be that this condor went out to look for food? Sasuke suddenly thought of a possibility. After all, thunder and lightning were raging in the Wind and Thunder Canyon, and the sun was shining through. Except for the condor, there seems to be no sign of the existence of any large creatures. If the Thunder Condor wants to eat, I'm afraid it will have to leave. So Sasuke sat on the cliff and began to wait silently. The tour lasted most of the day. Until noon, the sun was high in the sky and the clouds and fog in the canyon were a little thinner. Sasuke was a little impatient. Bah! With a loud cry. In the distant sky, a huge condor covered in blue and blue flew towards him at great speed. On its black sharp claws, it also held a large fish more than 10 meters long. Sure enough, it's here. Sasuke perked up. He stared at the Thunder Condor and saw it flying up to the mountain peak not far away. Its black and sharp claws quickly dissembled the big fish. Then, enjoy it. Sasuke's eyes narrowed slightly. All the movements of the Thunder Condor were within his perception. However, once I take action, I must hit it with one strike. Sasuke thought to himself. He can't fly, and he just showed the terrifying speed of the Thunder Condor. Once it tried to escape, Sasuke could only stare. Therefore, either you don't take action, or you do it with a thunderous blow. Sasuke thought for a moment. Soon, he quietly sneaked into the Thunder Condor's nest. On a steep cliff, the Thunder Condor was bathing in the sun, opening its mouth like a giant iron hook and devouring fish. Under the sunlight, its blue feathers glowed with a metallic luster. The black and sharp claws are like gold and iron, and they seem to be faintly flashing with cold light. Its head is held high, its deep golden pupils reveal unruly and coldness, and its eyes are sharp. Occasionally, the Thunder Condor flaps its huge wings, causing strong winds and causing rocks to crack. Sasuke hid behind the rock and observed quietly, and couldn't help but admire. What a magnificent giant eagle! This majestic figure and momentum is definitely the top summoning beast. The Thunder Condor eats very quickly. Soon, most of the fish, which was more than 10 meters long, was swallowed by it. Sasuke narrowed his eyes slightly, preparing to cast the illusion. Suddenly, a deep voice sounded. Come out, kid, I know you're hiding there. The Thunder Condor spoke human words and looked sharply in Sasuke's direction. Sasuke was startled. This condor can actually talk. And how did this guy notice me? Sasuke frowned and walked out from behind the rock. I didn't expect him to be a little devil. HMPH, kid, you don't have to be surprised. After so many years of practice, I already have the ability to perceive. Otherwise, how do you think I have been able to avoid you ninjas for so many years? The Thunder Condor continued. His power is not only spread in the Kingdom of Thunder, but also heard by other powerful ninjas in other countries. Coupled with his terrifying flying speed, it also attracted many people's envy. But no matter what methods these ninjas used, he could easily avoid them and has been flying freely to this day. Of course he has something to rely on. Perception. Sasuke secretly revealed that the Summoningmon, which can speak extremely powerful in itself. Such as Mount Myoboku's Toad Boss Bunta, Orochimaru's strongest summoning beast, and Tsunade's giant Katsuyu, etc. All of them are famous. If coupled with strong perception ability, it's so hard to tame. However, this is the challenge. Conquering such a powerful summoning beast will also bring me great benefits. The hawk-like Summoningmon is very powerful despite its small size. The condor in front of him has wings that are dozens of meters long, and its size is not inferior to summoning beasts such as Gamabunta. I'm afraid it's even stronger. Maybe it can be compared to a tailed beast. Boy, if you don't want to die, you'd better leave as soon as possible. Over the years, I have swallowed all the ninjas who have tried to tame me. The Thunder Condor roared. When Sasuke heard this, his furrowed brows relaxed a few cups. Why, you are rushing me away, is it because you are afraid of me? You, the Thunder and Lightning Condor was stunned. That's exactly what happened. This condor is not a good one. Over the years, many powerful ninjas have been killed and devoured by him. But his keen perception allowed him to detect the terrifying power contained in Sasuke's body. Therefore, we dare not start a war rashly. Well, how about a bet? If I can defeat you, you will become my summoning beast. If I lose, I will never come to you again. Sasuke spoke. Humph, why should I bet with you? The Thunderbolt Condor has a cold and handsome voice. There is no benefit if he wins. If he loses, he will lose his freedom. He won't do it. You should know that at my age, my strength will become stronger and stronger, and I also have the ability to perceive. You have no choice. Sasuke Sharingan appeared and said coldly. Those eyes, you are from the Uchiha clan. The Thunder Condor fell silent. This world is, after all, the world of ninjas. Even if he is very powerful, he cannot change the status quo. Good. The Thunder Condor nodded. As Sasuke gets stronger as time goes on, it will become harder and harder for him to win. It's better to take advantage of it now, before Sasuke has fully grown up. Boom. The moment the condor nodded, the sky thundered loudly, and a lightning bolt as thick as a bucket struck down from the clouds. So fast, Sasuke was shocked. A lightning-style chakra coat instantly appeared on his body. Immediately afterwards, blue thunder struck him fiercely, causing his whole body to tremble slightly. A big pit appeared on the ground, and it was scorched black. This guy is very proficient in lightning-style nature transformation. Sasuke looked up and smiled. The attack just now was like a small unicorn, hard to guard against. Fortunately, Sasuke himself also has Grandmaster Lightning-style nature transformation, and his physical body is very strong. This move didn't have much impact on him. What? I actually managed it. A trace of surprise flashed in the eyes of the Thunder Condor. You know, he has defeated many humans with this lightning style in the past. Boom. He spread his wings and quickly grabbed Sasuke with his black claws like fine steel. Drink. Sasuke growled his whole life, and his muscles swelled all over his body. Her hands were like iron pliers, tightly grabbing his claws. This kid is so powerful, even stronger than the third Raikage. The Thunder Condor was shocked. Can the human body be so strong? It's as fierce as a humanoid-tailed beast. The next second, Sasuke's whole body exploded with star power, and he shook his hands hard. The huge body of the Thunder Condor was thrown away by him and hit the rock wall nearby. Boom! The mountain wall collapsed and a large amount of rocks were broken. The Thunder Condor shook his head and slowly stood up from the ruins. Boy, you are really an anomaly among the masters. His golden pupils stared intently at Sasuke. The next moment, his sharp wings were like giant steel knives, slashing towards Sasuke. Sasuke's speed surged and he jumped to avoid the attack. Laugh. The rocks under his feet were cut like tofu. Immediately afterwards, the Thunder Condor suddenly opened its mouth, and a huge ball of translucent chakra condensed. Call out. The chakra group blasted towards Sasuke like cannonballs. He tapped his feet lightly on the ground and quickly retreated like a ghost to avoid the attack. The chakra mass exploded and turned into countless wind blades, spreading in all directions at an astonishing speed. Sasuke was naturally also affected. But the dark red chakra coat appeared on his body and turned into a giant hand blocking his body. Bang bang bang. The wind blade was shattered by the tailed beast chakra. Sasuke looked at the condor not far away in surprise. Oh boy, wind-style nature transformation. This condor actually has 2 attribute changes. Moreover, his understanding of nature transformation is extremely high. Those 2 moves just now were so fast that even Sasuke couldn't dodge them. There was no time to use ninjutsu to resist. In terms of power, it is enough to kill some Jonin instantly. Human, don't even think about escaping. The voice of the Thunder Condor came. Tisk. His whole body was covered with wind-style chakra. The claws, wings, and hook band's giant mouth kept attacking Sasuke. Blessed by the wind-style chakra, each of his strikes is extremely sharp. The surrounding cliffs quickly disintegrated and collapsed under the attack of the condor. But Sasuke is incredibly fast and flexible, and is able to dodge attacks every time. This made the Thunder Condor look anxious. This guy's strength is probably stronger than some cage level. Sasuke commented secretly while fighting. No wonder he has been able to live freely for so long, he is indeed very strong. This divine eagle may not be as good as the tailed beast in terms of chakra. But he is like a ninja, and his use of chakra and nature transformation are much more fishy than the tailed beast. Its true strength is more difficult to deal with than the tailed beast. But, it's my turn next. Sasuke's mental power spreads, and he instantly casts an illusion, Uehua Realm. The next second, the Thunder Condor's golden pupils fell into confusion. In the fantasy world, he swims on the ocean, and his strength is extremely terrifying. With a flick of the wings, the oceans will crack and the mountains will collapse. As soon as he opened his mouth and sucked in, countless delicious fish flew out of the sea. Well, it's so beautiful. Just when he fell into a fantasy, Sasuke flashed to his side and slapped him hard with his palm. Chidori Ryu explodes violently. Under the raging thunder attack, his whole body trembled violently and his eyes turned white. But Sasuke's attack and severe pain also made him break away from the genjutsu. How is that possible? What a powerful illusion. Although Sasuke's Chidori Ryu is powerful, it does not cause much damage due to his huge body and constant exposure to thunder and lightning. But the illusion just now made him panic. In this state, he can only be at the mercy of others. Wow, his wings fluttered and he quickly retreated. Human, you are really strong, but it is impossible for you to defeat me. HMPH, can you keep up with my speed? Seeing that the situation was not good, the Thunder Condor wanted to escape directly. In terms of flight speed alone, he is confident that he is third in the ninja world. No matter how strong Sasuke is, he can only follow him and eat dust. Haha, goodbye human being. His whole body was wrapped in thunder, his wings flapped, and his speed was astonishingly fast. Like a flying arrow, it quickly disappeared into the sky. At that time, he was really cunning, and he kept a trick on me. Sasuke smiled. The next second, he disappeared directly from the spot. This human kid is so young, how can he be so strong? The Thunder Condor was secretly puzzled. This reminded him of the legendary Uchiha Madara. Perhaps, if he continues to grow, he may not be as powerful as Uchiha Madara. The Uchiha clan is really scary. He turned to look behind him and breathed a sigh of relief. Suddenly, Sasuke flashed and appeared on his back. Hey, we meet again. Sasuke smiled and patted his back. You, how? The Thunder and Lightning Eagle soul was almost scared away. He quickly turned his body and fluttered Sasuke out with his wings. Then quickly flew away. A few seconds later, Sasuke appeared on his back again like a ghost. I said, don't run away, you can't escape. Sasuke patted his head, let Sin be my summoning beast. Not good. The Thunder Condor reacted and was hit. Probably the most difficult time in space ninjutsu. Humph, I am the overlord of the sky. If you want me to surrender, you are just dreaming. The Thunder Condor is still unruly. Yeah, Sasuke's eyes turned cold, and dazzling golden lines appeared all over his body. In an instant, the Emperor of the Sea naturally gathered towards him. Out, appeared. The Thunder Condor couldn't help but tremble, it was this power that he had sensed before. Rumble. The color of heaven and earth changes. In the clouds, countless thunders are controlled by Sasuke. They quickly gathered together and turned into a huge golden unicorn. Kamui is panic-stricken and extremely frightened. Sasuke stared at him. The voice was cold. Surrender, or death. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.